service starts now. With Sean Morash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Yeah, it's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM here on the BetQL Network. I'm Sean Morash, co-host Pat Boyle with us as well. It will be a busy 3 hours in the realm of wagertainment. Wimbledon finals will give you bets that are all the racket will seamlessly transition into plenty of baseball. We even have a Copa and EuroLeague final picks just for kicks. And, of course, plenty of football talk as we beat pigs about the incoming skin in the game of this season. That's my setup for puns. I hope you enjoyed them. If not, screw you, pal. Real quickly, though, before we get into our hot cakes and hot takes to start the show, Pat and I are obviously on top of and well aware of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump yesterday. Those kind of actions, if we can't all agree on one thing, completely uncondonable. I mean, outrageous and frankly sickening. And there is a family and friends who are now mourning the loss of somebody innocently sitting in the bleachers watching a rally yesterday. And if we have gotten this beyond tense in our political world, that we're going back in time to things we learned about in the history books in terms of assassinations for many in my age group in the 30s. It's sickening. It's gross. And Pat and I both will not and obviously do not tolerate that. However, when you wake up this morning, and if you're on any of our great affiliates on the bet tuning in, thank you. If you are scrolling the internet, joining us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BetQL, thank you. Maybe you got us popped up on your smart TV as well over there on Twitch. Thank you. You are going to be inundated, as you should, in this big of a global, national, everything story this morning. We hope to be two clowns here, giving you some fun bets and some fun stories for the next 3 hours, providing you the escape from that. So, obviously, thank you for tuning in. If you're interested in talk on that, sure. President Trump offshore, big time favorite, as he already was. But we're not going to really even have fun with that when somebody's disgustingly lost their life yesterday. So instead, we're going to provide you the escape, be the same old wacky duo we are. And along the way, Pat will tell you why Novak Djokovic is going to, win in about 3 minutes. So without further ado, that's my piece on that. And let's take it away with some hot takes and hot cakes.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Morash, give it to them.
Pat, nobody's heard your voice yet. The floor is yours, pal.
Thank you, Shawnee, and well said. Well put there in the open from you, my friend. I agree with everything. Here we go. This is what we live for. This is why we are sports fans. Days like today, where it's not the Super Bowl, it's not Game 7 of the NBA Finals, it's not Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, it's not the World Series. No, it is Championship Sunday for the men's final at Wimbledon. We've also got the final of the European Championship today, and we've got the final at the Copa America. Two of the biggest continental soccer tournaments, obviously. So what does that mean, Shawnee? Continent specific, not the World Cup.
Yeah, they're connected.
Two of the biggest continental soccer tournaments for your country. The finals are today. And then we've got the biggest final, the biggest match in all of tennis. And we've got blockbusters. We got blockbusters, man. This is it. Middle of July, All-Star breaks upon us. Football's around the corner. The world stops today for tennis and soccer, and I couldn't be more happy. I could not be happier, Sean. I know you agree. I know you agree with me. So without further ado, we are about 5 minutes away from Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, a rematch of last year's final. If you were listening to BetMGM tonight on Friday, I was with our pal Denton Day. I gave out these bets. Nothing has changed. My thought process is the same. So here we go. If you are not driving, race to get these bets in, or don't. It's up to you. So here we go. Over 6.5 total breaks to serve. I'm not going to give too much in-depth analysis here because, again, the match is starting in a couple of minutes. Over 6.5 total breaks to serve. I'll say this. They played 5 sets last year. They played an epic 5-setter. There was 10 total breaks of serve. Grass has been a little bit slower at Wimbledon this year. These are two of the best returners on planet. Neither of them have booming serves. So there you go. There was 10 total breaks of serve last year. Even if it's only a 4-set match, I think we get over the hump. Over 6.5 total breaks of serve, and that's plus money on BetMGM. Then I'm going the over game total, over 40.5, 41.5, depending on where you get it at. And you might get a slightly better number if you do this in the first couple minutes of the match. But if you can get a 40.5 at anything of like minus 130 or better odds, I would take it. Because, again, I think this does go at the minimum 4 sets, and I think it's a deep 4-setter at the worst. But I think it's going 5 again. I think it's going the distance. These guys have not been at their best. They're both going to raise their level, but it's a topsy-turvy match. As always, when these two play, Djokovic-Alcaraz, the rematch of last year, I think it delivers another 5-setter plus 200. That was at least last night at BetMGM. Odds might have come down a little bit, but there you go. Over 6.5 total breaks to serve, over 40.5 games, and 5 sets at plus 200. And stay tuned, because if I think that the match is going one way and it's bound to balance is tipped the other way, might have a live bet coming from me, but nothing yet in terms of picking a side. Those are the 3 bets, though, that I love most.
I love it. So it is Championship Sunday for Pat. And it's, let's face it, I call it dorky-ship Sunday when it comes to tennis and soccer, if those are the sports you like. But still, there's money to be made. And our local Shawnee's going to give out a little Euro Cup final bet later. And I might even piggyback with another bet in that game. Oh, Sean's been doing the research here, Pat. Sean's been doing the research. I'm going to keep talking in the third person. All right, so Pat's giving you the bets. He's giving you the cakes. I'm going to give you a takes. I have, full disclosure, been on vacation, did a little staycation from work all week long. There's plenty of sun, plenty of beach, plenty of pool, having a good time. So I have not done radio since with Pat last Sunday, BetQL's 5-star weekend. To me, and I'm sorry if this feels very localized, but I thought it was the biggest NBA story of the week as a guy out of New York. Jalen Brunson leaving $131 million on the table. I've seen a lot of Twitter reaction to this, a lot of everything. Jalen Brunson has officially put himself, in my opinion, as a once-in-a-lifetime type of star. I don't believe Jalen Brunson will ever be the best player in the NBA, but that's okay. He doesn't have to be. He could be a top 10 star in this league or whatever. The Knicks have done right by him in recruiting so many of his college friends to put together what is a really unique situation. And as much as I've, busted chops back and forth, do I believe the Knicks are going to win some kind of NBA title this year? I don't. But, of course they're going to be in the mix and be competitive. But that's not the point. Jalen Brunson left an insane amount of money on the table. He's still going to make an insane amount of money and probably have money that many of us would never even be able to go through in a billion years. But still, leave 100. It was at 131 or 119. I'm losing track of the number.
I believe it was 113.
113. That's why I was doing the what do you call it? Dyslexia. The 3 and the correct. 1. I was flip flopping around. 113 mil on the table. What I've already seen reactions to this week scares me for the future of fandom and the future of sports. Jalen Brunson should owe nobody an apology that he took less money. He should expect nobody do that again. It's a unique situation. Everything. We cannot now, going forward, when stars of our own, on wherever you live in this great North American continent, whatever team, whatever sport you love the most, you should not expect any other athlete to act the way Jalen Brunson did. And if you ever have a player leave for slightly more money than your own team was offering to keep a star, the idea of why couldn't you be like Jalen Brunson is unfortunately going to come up because it's already started for fan bases. And I think Jalen Brunson is, by default, put a lot of these other athletes' future in a weird spot because they're going to have to battle fans about that, and they shouldn't care. What Jalen Brunson did to me, and I know people bring, well, Brady lost, left less money. Okay, get it. He still had Giselle making a fortune in their relationship too. What Jalen Brunson did is truly, truly generational, once in a lifetime. And I don't think it's going to start a trend, but rather us as fans need to be protected against the trend of bashing these guys, Pat.
How about that? That's well said from you, who's a Knicks hater, right? I think you can admit that. You don't like the Knicks. For you to step up to the podium here on a Sunday after not being on at all in New York. Now I'm sure maybe you'll be singing a different tune on WFAN, but at
No,
least here,
I'm consistent on this.
for here the great folks in North America on the bet, wherever you're listening on the Odyssey app, that's really nice of you to say. And let's not forget that Jalen Brunson still can take home a gigantic whopping payday in the 2027 offseason, where Knicks president Leon Rose basically said, yeah, he can recoup that money just a couple of years. Brunson can earn a 4-year extension at that point for, what was the number? I had it here right in front of my face. I believe it was $340 million. Yeah, here it is. He can sign a 4-year, $323 million maximum contract extension in 2028. Or get this, Shawnee. Hold on to your eyeballs. A 5-year, $418 million deal in 2029. Now, like you said, this is generational because Jalen Brunson is taking the risk. I mean, he could blow out his ACL twice in the next 2 years and never be the same player again. And the Knicks are not going to, just give him a charity check, a charity $323 million contract extension. He could go, he could hit the cliff and then just totally sink like a rock in terms of his talent on the floor. So he is absolutely betting on himself and could get a massive payday anyway in a couple of years. But the main point is the Knicks, who are right now in a championship contending window, they just re-signed OG Anunoby. They have to make a decision after this year on Julius Randle. They're going to have to give Mikal Bridges, who they just traded for, an extension in the next 2 years. So this Jalen Brunson, playing alongside all of his best buddies from Villanova, with his dad on the coaching staff and his former agent, who's now the president of the Knicks here, he said, you know what, I'll take the discount. Build a statue. Give me a crown one day. I'm going to leave $113 million on the table, and I'm going to give this team a chance to continue to make trades, make moves, and build towards a championship. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable move.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. This is the only negative tinge I would give you, Pat Boyle. Color me very suspicious. In a day and age where everything has a conspiracy theory attached to it, obviously, just check Twitter this morning. You'll see plenty. I have always had this take, so the Brunson thing just kind of really brings in light. I don't trust extremely rich owners and rich athletes for not pulling anything sleazy and under the table and untraceable. I've watched enough movies. I've watched enough shows. I'm aware of what offshore accounts are. I've seen enough mafia dealings and everything else. Whenever there is like a close split on where an athlete decides to go for money, I always say to myself, how do we know through some of these owners' separate accounts that have nothing to do with the team accounts that money is not being funneled offshoringly, is, framed as a birthday gift, so to speak? And I just look at that amount of money from Brunson, and I know all the stories with James Dolan and the amount of money that he reaps in Madison Square Garden Enterprises, all of that. There's still a part of me that thinks Jalen Brunson's getting that money from somewhere else here right now, Pat. There's still a little part of me that thinks that, and it's going to be untraceable back to the NBA and their salary cap.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can make that argument about any player. You can make that argument even for guys that have taken maximum contract extensions where they could have earned them elsewhere. So you can take your conspiracy theories. You know what you can do with them? You can shove them where the sun don't shine, Shawnee. Because the only thing that does matter is how much it counts against the cap. And it's going to count at least $11, $12, and $13 million less against the cap over the next 3 years with this new contract extension. So how do you like that? How do you like them apples? Them's the breaks, as you like to say, Shawnee. And you're on mute. See, I got him so good, he can't even talk.
Those are the breaks. All right, so to set up the rest of the show, we're obviously going to have home run bets coming up the second hour. We're going to continue our Snakes on the Brain fantasy series, look ahead to wide receivers. So you get your NFL, you get your baseball taste. Last week, at about 5 minutes from now, we did a segment on the coaches that are on the hot seat as we look ahead. By the way, we are inside of 3 weeks until the Hall of Fame game. I think a fun exercise at this time of year, and I'm going to do this over the course of the next 2 weeks, but we'll start with teams out that are in. The NFL playoff turnover. Me and Pat are going to rank the 5 most likely non-playoff teams from a year ago that will become playoff teams this year. So we'll have some fun with that because that'll help with the futures tickets on, betting and who to make the playoffs, this, that, and the other. So have some fun coming up. A jam-packed show plus our best bets throughout. It is BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. We're here to wager-tain you over the course of the next 3 hours, and we'll Wimbledon a ton of fun. Crank that music. Oh, my God.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Five-star weekend. It's a big tennis and soccer day around. So I think each and every break, if something's going on here, if you're in the car listening, watching, and I use break loosely, Pat, you want to give a little Wimbledon update here? What's going on with Novak?
Yeah, so we are still in the first game of the match. That's emblematic of what I expect here in this match. Alcaraz right now has his third break point, so this is what we're rooting for. I have over 6.5 total breaks to serve at plus money. That's my favorite bet. This is going to be very topsy-turvy, so hold on to your nips. Watch your lips. Alcaraz just blew another break point, but that's fine. Expect this. This is going to be seesaw battle, back and forth, up and down, around and around we go. So here we go. Strap in. It's going to be a long one, and we are still in the first game.
Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Here we go.
Last week, as we continue to march towards football season, which also usually means the end of us as a show for a couple months, as we march towards football season, we gave you the coaches on the hot seat. Now, we're going to give you a little game. So I like this every year, no matter what radio network I'm on, a little having fun with teams that make the playoffs. Because every year the NFL has that turnover. They say the average every year is about 4 new teams. Sometimes you get as many as 6 new teams. And the point of the practice is usually what everybody assumes will be a run back. Well, that team was good. That team was good. You know that every year is full of surprises, good and bad. This week, and I got some odds to help it out with the teams I'm going to give you. We're going to rank the top 5 teams that we think missed the playoffs last year that are most likely to make the playoffs this year. Do you understand the name of the game, Patty? How do you want to do this? You want me to rip through 5? You want to go 5, 5, 4, 4? How do you want to?
Yeah, can we do that? A little tit for tat, a little back and forth.
Sure. I'll give you a tit for tat. Here we go. First of all, number 5 for me.
Number 5.
Good odds here. Plus 320 are the odds on a yes here. I'm going to give you the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray out most of last year. Obviously, the question mark is what the heck is Jonathan Gannon as a head coach? I do like the upside in Marvin Harrison Jr. being paired here with Kyler Murray. I think that they're going to be a fun little team. I think we forget that there is a Kyler Murray-led team that made the playoffs a couple of years ago. And I look at that division, and while I don't think the Niners necessarily go anywhere, and at some point it's going to be put up or shut up to actually win a Super Bowl for them, the Rams, man, losing Aaron Donald, I think it'll be a bigger deal than people realize for that defense. And Matt Stafford, I think we're all kind of stunned, stayed relatively healthy all year. Remember, it was a time last year where we wondered how many games does Matt Stafford play? I think we're asking a lot to just assume the Rams, who had a pretty surprising bounce back year last year, just run it right back and get to the playoffs. And in that division, I don't love the Seattle Seahawks, especially no Pete Carroll anymore. I thought Geno Smith crashed back down to earth a bunch last year. And if I can get Arizona live to get maybe second place behind the Niners in that division, I think they're going to be very live for that 7th wild card. So give me the Arizona Cardinals a plus 320, the 5th most likely non-playoff team from a year ago to make it this year.
That's a bullish bet, and I like that you are rooted strongly in your stance on the Vikings. By the way, Alcaraz breaks, so that's a dream start for us, baby. That's a dream start. You got a break in the first game, 1 down, 6 to go. How you done? How you done?
You could tell Pat is paying attention to tennis and nothing I said. He tells me he loves that I'm steadfast in the Vikings. I didn't mention the Vikings once.
Hold on. I have Vikings on my brain because there's a little tease for you. But I like you're bullish on the Cardinals, and I know everything. I heard everything you said. Jonathan Gannon, we don't know what he is as a coach. Kyler Murray, bounce back, all that.
Well, then everybody heard it. You don't need to.
Well,
reset.
I'm listening, Sean. But I also got money on the line. So what do you want me to do here?
Okay. I would just give your 15.
The Minnesota Vikings. And I don't know what the odds are off the top of my head for them to make the playoffs, but I think there's a real solid.
Do I have to carry you all day today? Am I going to have to carry you all day? They're plus 310.
Look at that.
Slightly better odds than
it's almost same exact odds that you feel about the Cardinals, I feel about the Vikings. Now, of course, my opinion is rooted in a lot of this because, one, I think that J.J. McCarthy should not sniff the field this year, and I'm hoping he doesn't. Now, if that changes, that's going to change my opinion on the Vikings' chances to make the playoffs. Sam Darnold, I've said it before, has done a really good job in these last couple of years here, especially this last season as Brock Purdy's backup. And I think he has the ability to have a Geno Smith type season that we saw 2 years ago. It's not like he doesn't have the weapons, right? Best wide receiver in football, Justin Jefferson. One of the best tight ends in football, albeit coming off of an injury, TJ Hawkinson. Jordan Addison, the huge steps he took forward last year when Jefferson was hurt. They added Aaron Jones into the backfield with Ty Chandler. They've upgraded that offensive line over the last couple of years. And Kevin O'Connell, if there's anybody that can get Sam Darnold to have a Geno Smith resurgent type season, it's Kevin O'Connell. So I hope that the Vikings schedule, which is very tough in the first couple of games of the year, at the Giants, which is a 50-50 toss-up game, and then they play the Niners, Texans, Packers, Jets in London, and then the Lions off the bye week. However, starting with Week 11, here's how their schedule flattens out big time. At Tennessee, at Chicago, home versus the Cardinals, home versus the Falcons, home versus the Bears, at Seattle versus Green Bay, at Detroit. So there's that sweet spot, weeks 11 to 16, where they can really, really make their push. And I just hope that the Vikings ownership and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM, isn't cramming J.J. McCarthy down Kevin O'Connell's throat before then or at that point, because Sam Darnold's got a chance to lead this team. Let's say going into Week 11 at Tennessee, they've played 9 games. Let's say they're 3-6. Do not be shocked at that point if the Vikings can rattle off 6 wins to finish the year, finish 9-8, and claim that last National League, claim that last NFC wildcard spot here. I know you're not going to disagree with me, Sean. They've got the weapons on offense. They've got a defense that improved a lot from 2022 when they were a sieve. You believe
Flores
that Sam
will
Darnold?
be good.
I believe Sam Darnold's capable enough. This team can make the playoffs. I think they are the 5th most likely team that missed last year to make it.
Oh man, Pat, we've been over this. I can't believe how much the Vikings have become a topic on this show. I think the kids use the term cheeks. I think this bet is absolute cheeks. Look, you just laid out the early schedule. Here's the thing, Pat. You bring up 3-6. You know the reality of the NFL. They invested a very high first-round pick in J.J. McCarthy. Now, you want to tell me, you want to make the case that Darnold starts. Let's play the Pat Boyle rules. That Darnold starts from week 1 on. If this team is getting suffocated and they're 3 games under 500 when their schedule does flatten out, we've seen this time and time again. That is exactly where you get the rookie to start playing. They're not going to look at that schedule and go, we got to keep playing Darnold at 3-6. We're going to play easier opponents. No, that becomes, now's the time to play McCarthy, which is exactly why they won't make the playoffs. And oh, by the way, I feel worse about J.J. McCarthy, and we've trashed the guy enough on this show after watching Hard Knocks. He's the one guy out of all the quarterbacks that couldn't properly try out to play, and he blamed Harbaugh for his terminology and everything. I think it's a cheeks bet, but you know what? We sometimes make cheeks bets, so that's the way it's at. Remember, Pat's focus is Tennessee. Yeah, the football, tough spot. All right. That was where he's supposed to take the bait. I'm going to give you my number 4 team here. As a guy who looks like Jeffrey Dahmer looks in. My number 4 team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not juicy odds, though, only plus 122 for a return to the playoffs. Pat has absolutely hated the trajectory of Trevor Lawrence, and I understand a lot of what Pat's saying. I'm a little more of a believer. I really believe this. It's Jaguars make the playoffs, or going back to last week with the hot coach sheet rankings, Doug Peterson is out. Give me the Jags in a bounce back in the AFC at plus 122. The problem there is the AFC so loaded, and maybe the best path is winning the division. I still think if the Texans have a step back with C.J. Stroud, it'll be the Jaguars who pounce and win that division this year.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are a team where I've seen a quarterback kind of stagnate over the last 2 years with Justin Herbert, whereas you've seen one stagnate over the last year or so with Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, you're right. I hate the Jaguars. I'm hammering them. I'm going to probably hammer their under win total. I think Justin Herbert, with the guidance of Jimmy Harbaugh, and I get it. They lost Mike Williams. They lost Keenan Allen. The receiver room is a total question. Their running backs, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, often injured. But it's Jimmy Harbaugh. If there's anybody that has proven they can turn this team around, that they can turn a team into a playoff team that has the tools, has the quarterback to do so, it's Jimmy Harbaugh. And let's not forget, too, that 2 out of the 3 other teams in the AFC West are cheeks and buns in the Raiders and Broncos. So there you go. If Jimmy Harbaugh can win 3, if not 4 of those games, they're going to have a shot to make the playoffs. And the fact that they were so abysmal last year, they're going to be playing the worst teams in the divisions that they play. So softer schedule this year for Chargers. It's a nice soft bounce back spot season for them. And if you believe that Justin Herbert is as talented as we're all told he is, and I think he is, and we see the highlight reel, we see the arm talent. Jimmy Harbaugh now, the coach of the Chargers, I think they can do this. I think they can turn it around. And again, in a obviously weak AFC West where there's a second spot in that division calling for a wild card that's up for grabs. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying they're probably the 4th most likely team to make the playoffs that missed last year.
I'll withhold my Charger takes. I will just say I'm a little stunned that Pat Boyle has them so far back on the list at 4. Obviously, the Chargers are going to be on my list. More on them in a second. My 3rd team, though, is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. NFC South completely wide open. I am lost on why so many people just assume Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are going to run it back in the NFC South. And maybe they will, but that is a really wide open division that we all agreed. Arthur Smith, bumbling idiot. Mariota quitting on the team. Falcons needed a quarterback, and now they have 2. And whether they pull the plug on Kirk Cousins or not, I believe they'll be set up for success with that offense with Penix if and when he does play this year. I think that if I'm looking around, I still don't trust Dennis Allen and the Saints in that division. Give me the Falcons. Not Dan Quinn. Who took over as the Falcons coach? Now it's losing my mind.
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. That's right. I think he's a young, enthusiastic coach. A lot of people comparing him clearly to D'Amico Ryans and everything that he brought to the Texans last year. I think the Falcons, NFC South, alive for me as my 3rd most likely team, and I just had their odds, and of course, I screwed that up. Atlanta Falcons to make the playoffs, minus 200. So think about that. We're doing this exercise. They missed. They're minus 200 to make the playoffs. That's how many people expect them to, Pat.
Yeah, I just, you're calling me Jeffrey Dahmer because of my glasses, and yet you don't know who the coach of the Falcons are. You're losing your odds that are right in front of your face. So we digress.
At least I had them. You're doing the whole exercise without odds. At least I had them.
Okay. Here is a team that I know Sean does not have on his list, and I don't even have to look at his rundown with his teams listed to know that he doesn't have them on his list. But the 3rd most likely team to make the playoffs this year that missed last season, it's, of course, the New York Jets. And it comes down to one thing. Well, here's the thing. And it's a big if, and I know we can play ifs, ands, or buts.
I know you said the Jet. You said the Jets likely to make the
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because Sean's just going to keep laughing like a pig throughout all of it here. We play if, ands, or buts with a lot of things in the NFL. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy this year, the Jets are making the playoffs. Simple. I mean, there you have a receiver room with Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Breece Hall, who's an absolute animal. Offensive line still needs work. I don't think it's going to be perfect, but it's certainly going to be better than it was last year where, they get Rodgers hurt in the first 4 games of the season and they can't protect whoever was behind there. Timmy Boyle, Zach Wilson, it did not matter. This defense is a top 5 defense in football. They prove it every single year. So if Aaron Rodgers plays 17 games or close to it, the Jets are making the playoffs.
Okay. All right. I mean, he won't, but all right. Robert Sala's got to coach the team to the playoffs. Number 2 for me is the Chargers. Patty hit on everything earlier. I mean, the idea that the Jets are more likely to make the playoffs than the Chargers. Program turnarounder, Stanford, Niners with Alex Smith. Obviously, Michigan. You see here, you have Justin Herbert. I love that they invested in the O-line. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are basically taking the Ravens' run game here at Greg Roman. Going to throw it with the Chargers. I think Quentin Johnston, going to emerge as a receiver here. Chargers extremely live. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I'm going to be on the doubting Justin Herbert train big time. Big time. But I expect the Chargers back. Number 2 for me. Pat, to you.
Yeah, number 2 for me, and maybe we could save both number 1s for the other side of the break here because we're running out of time. But I'm going to put the Cincinnati Bengals as number 2, and I know a lot of folks would probably have them at number 1 on this list. I will say this. Burrow's back. Again, if he's healthy, this team is probably a Super Bowl contender. Forget about a chance to make the playoffs, but I don't have them at number 1 because, again, the AFC North is probably the best division in football, where you've got the Ravens. AFC should have, best team in the AFC last year. You've got the Browns with Joe Flacco won 11 games. You've got the Steelers running out Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges in years past. It doesn't matter who's been their quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Still, Mike Tomlin wins 10 games last year. They get to the playoffs. So it's not just as simple as, Burrow's back, automatic playoffs. It's not. It's not. You got a stacked AFC North. And let's not forget, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, Houston Texans, Kansas City Chiefs. And then for the folks that think the Chargers and or the Jaguars are going to be fringe playoff teams or right on the cusp there, there's only 7 playoff spots, right? And we're talking about 10 teams here in the AFC that can all make the playoffs.
Right.
It is not a total lock for me that Cincinnati's getting back to the playoffs. That's why I got them at number 2.
Okay. And without further ado, we will wait on our number 1s. BetQL's 5-star weekend continues on. Next.
Our weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Do either of you guys know on the top of your head how long it's been since the Jets have made the playoffs? Like how many years exactly? Okay, thank you. I'll get the exact number. Thanks.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend chugging along. Patty Boyle all over what's going on in Wimbledon. Pat, you want to update the audience as you continue to fluff this up?
Yeah, so it's been one-sided so far. We've got 2 breaks, which is good, but now we need Djokovic to get back in this match here. He's down 4-1. It's a double break lead for Alcaraz in the first set. He's been all over him from the baseline. Again, hold on to your nips because I expect this match to be topsy-turvy. I expect Djokovic to get back in this thing, and just as I say that, we've got a break point for Djokovic. This would be the 3rd break in the first set. This is a dream start if you tailed here and you've got the over 6.5 total breaks. So we'll see what happens, but it's been all Alcaraz so far. But again, long match. You got to win 3 sets, baby.
You do have to win 3 sets. Those are the rules of tennis, Pat, as we know.
Correct.
As we know. Real quickly, we've been doing a little bit of giving the odds, future odds, teams to make the playoffs that missed the playoffs a year ago. We have both our number one set to go. Pat did include the Jets in there, and I laughed my ass off at it. For those who still aren't keeping track, and really the year is jarring as we enter the 2024 season. The last time the Jets were even in the playoffs was the 2010 AFC Championship game. So think about it. There are 16, 17, 18-year-olds in high school right now, diehard football fans, who cannot even close their eyes and picture the Jets in a playoff game. And Pat Boyle thinks Rodgers off an Achilles, hasn't been good in 3 years, is going to lead them to the playoffs. But, hey, them's the breaks. That's what you get when you follow Pat Boyle and his bets here. Now, let's finish off with number. Can you take the bait? You don't want to argue today? What's going on? What's going on with you? Wake up. What's going on with you?
Well, one, it's early, right? It's early in the show.
Yeah, this is
so-
our job. No kidding. We do morning betting radio here.
Okay. Oh, I'm. You know what? You're needling me. You're trying to get me angry. And you know what? I've got 3 bets on the line here, so I don't want to take your bet right now. I'm trying to stay in a positive mindset. Djokovic blows break point. Alcaraz holds, so that would have been big to break back. And you keep taking shots, as if you didn't have the freaking Jaguars in there in that list, which is an absolute joke. And I could have.
Who made the playoffs 2 years ago? Butt cheeks marinara.
Okay, and now they're solidly the second best team in their own division in a stacked conference with a quarterback who can't hang on to the football. He literally is an open field. He runs and the ball just drops out of his hand. So
you know what I think, Pat? You know what I think? I think you've gotten too corporate. I think you've gotten too corporate, and you have risen up the ranks here at BetQL, and I am so proud of you. You know, filling in on shows left and right. You've done a little You Better You Bet. You've done some Bet MGM tonight. But, I think Pat Boyles forgot where his bread was buttered. I think Pat Boyle's forgotten that the lifeblood of his BetQL career comes back to starting here with me after Chris Mack steps aside and Shawnee says, who should be with me? Pat Boyle should be with me. And now you wake up on a Sunday, your hair's aloof, you're wearing the dumbest glasses I've ever seen possible. And when I poke you, damn it, you respond. You don't just go, I'll save my takes for Trista Crick. That's a bad job by you, pal. Don't ever forget where you came from.
yeah, well, okay, so yeah, I do have the hair is aloof. We'll get a fresh comb job in the next break. And yes, I got the tired eyes because you know what? I was doing another radio shift last night till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. But also, you know what, Sean? When somebody like you, who I like to look at you as a locker room leader, as a guy that's got a C on his chest. When somebody like you brings me along, you know what? I can take the needling. I can take the joking. I don't mind it because I know it's coming from a good place. But yeah, you know what? You keep pushing my buttons too far, and I'm gonna snap, and we're gonna go at it, and it's gonna be war here until 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So just know that I'm a nice guy, and I recognize that you're a leader, and I appreciate the leadership and the radio skills that you've expressed here. But you know what? I'm sure if Tom Brady gets in Danny Amendola's face one too many times, Danny's gonna sucker punch him. So
good for Danny. Just to let the audience know, Pat Boyle has already given you out what looks like a big-time losing crap Wimbledon bet that he's going to update you on.
What are you talking about? It's the first set. We've already got
40
2
minutes
breaks.
in, the bet feels toast. So if you're in a miserable mood. Your account's getting drained, BetMGM already, because Pat's giving you a loser bet. Then Pat wants to tell you that the Jets are going to make the playoffs. Team hasn't seen a playoff game in 15 years. And now Pat is just sitting there going, he can't even afford a comb because his bets have stunk. But please, by all means, when Ryan Horvat offers you a potato skin, go run and do that shift. So let's go. All right? Here we go.
Why is he giving me potato skins?
Because they're only got voted the best appetizer ever.
That's false. That's a total joke. By who? You?
Okay. If you were to put betting odds on the best appetizer pound for pound in America,
potato skins is like 7th at best on that list.
Well, can we agree on this? Much like quarterbacks should have their own salary cap ranking, wings I don't think are considered an appetizer anymore, even though they'll appear in appetizer menus.
How?
Wings are wings. Beyond that, it's the potato skin, and it's the mozzarella stick, and it's the chips and dip. Those are the 3 best apps, clearly.
Chips and dip are better. Mozzarella sticks are better. Jalapeno poppers are better.
Oh, go scratch with jalapeno poppers.
Any type of quesadilla.
Not everybody likes a jalapeno popper. Some people don't like spicy.
Well, the poo-poo on them. A potato, a dried up potato skin that you smear some cheese and chives on?
Cheese, bacon, sour cream. There are people that prefer those 3 items together than they do pornographic films.
Well, they must be prudes because I don't know anybody that would prefer that over a nice solid porno.
Cheese, bacon, sour cream? No, please. Please. You can have your bell knocks.
You know what else is easily better than potato skins?
What?
Do you know?
Oh, what Novak Djokovic broke something?
No. Any kind of charcuterie, which I think would account as an appetizer.
I like charcuterie. It's seasonal, though. It sweats too much in the summer.
If you're at any kind of Italian restaurant, Meatballs are usually considered an appetizer. I'm having that over.
Oh, come on. A meatball's a dinner, Pat. Nobody's saying a meatball's a better appetizer than a potato skin. You're reaching. You've had a bad morning. Just own it. Now you're out on potato skins. Come on. More likely, America votes potato skin the number one appetizer in the world, or the Jets make the playoffs.
Jets make the playoffs.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Not even a
Amir,
question.
you're allowing this program to be produced? Come on. All right. Can we get back to teams that make the playoffs? Because your takes have gone nonsensically silly here. Here we go.
Sure.
We are down to the team most likely to make the playoffs that did not last year. Okay? My list has been very simple, on point, probably the most accurate list in America, as per usual. I gave you the Cardinals at 5, Jags at 4, Falcons at 3, Chargers at 2. Patty Boyle gave you the Vikings at 5, the Chargers at 4, the Jets at 3, the Bengals at 2. So without further ado, our list tops it. My number one is so obviously it's the Bengals. To me, they're the second most likely team to win a Super Bowl here, besides the Kansas City Chiefs. Big bounce back for Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow, by the way, is going to take a little heat here if the Bengals miss the playoffs. Even if he gets hurt again, at some point you got to start the question if they'll do it. Minus 220. So they're even higher odds than or worse odds than the Falcons. They will make the playoffs. Bengals number one for me, Pat.
Yeah, you had them at number 2 or number 3 here, the Atlanta Falcons? You had them at 3. I've got them at far away number 1, and it's not even close. Okay. Like you said, they're minus 200 to win the playoffs, but they're favored to win the division, which is the most important thing here. And we know how weak the NFC South is. So in a division where, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were forced to pay Baker Mayfield because there's really no other good option for them. The New Orleans Saints, they're going to run it back with Dennis Allen again, who's probably going to get fired, with Derek Carr again, who's probably looking on the on the inside, looking out in terms of his future as an NFL quarterback. A defense that still kind of has the reputation of being such a great defense, but really wasn't that great last year, especially away from home. And, the Dome in New Orleans ain't as scary to play in as it used to be. And don't even get me started on the Carolina Panthers. So with Kirk Cousins in at quarterback and Raheem Morris in as a new head coach, sure, Raheem Morris could end up being a coach that doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think that's going to be the case. But all the weapons last year that dumb Arthur Smith stood up there after every game at the podium and told us he was so smarter than everybody else because he didn't need to give Bijan Robinson the ball inside the 10. He didn't need to throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. He didn't need to throw the ball as many times as they were to Drake London. You add in a quarterback who is of the ilk of Kirk Cousins. This team's a playoff team in a weak division. They're a good team. They're a slightly above average team in a horrible, mediocre, probably worst division in football. And even if Kirk Cousins, coming off a torn Achilles at age 35, even if all of a sudden he falls off a cliff, or if he gets hurt again, you know how I feel about the Penix god, Michael Penix. He's going to step in there and lead this team to the playoffs. So there is a security blanket that the Atlanta Falcons had. That's why they drafted Penix at 8. That's why it was a brilliant, brilliant pick by their front office. The Falcons, I would say, yes, I don't say this about many things. The Falcons lock for the playoffs this year.
I just still don't trust Kirk Cousins, and I don't trust them going to Michael Penix when they should. But it's hard not to argue that. And I think the conference plays into it. If the Falcons are in the AFC, they're not even on my list of top 5 teams. So this really comes down to the NFC. Now, last week, Pat, we snake drafted some tight ends in terms of where we would want the value to be in fantasy and all of that. So the NFL is coming out with executive scouts, coaches, all their rankings position-wise. Tight ends was covered this week. Travis Kelce 1, George Kittle 2, Mark Andrews 3, Sam Laporta 4, TJ Hawkinson 5. I got him in fantasy last week. David Njoku 6, Dallas Goedert 7th, Dalton Kincaid 8th, Evan Ingram 9th, and Dalton Schultz 10th. Now, I don't know how you feel looking at this list. Dalton Schultz got that deal with the Texans, everything. Look, the Cowboys haven't missed a beat with Jake Ferguson. I'm not so sure I'd be all over Dalton Schultz in my top 10. You know me, I have Evan Ingram scars from so many drop passes with the Giants, and he continues that big drop balls there. He's not the perfect tight end. Other than that, I think Dallas Goedert, a little overrated too, but hard to argue Kelce, Kittle, Andrews, Laporta, Hawkinson right there in the top 5 with Njoku at 6. But I guess it's just figuring that out. Dealer's choice, the back end of that list there.
Yeah. We'll expand upon this more because I only have about 10 seconds.
Didn't realize, wasn't looking at the clock, but that's okay. We're going to come back, finish that, and hot takes and hot cakes. Let it rip. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend with Jeffrey and Sean.
Come on. That's a shot. It's a low blow there.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a
Your BetQL Sunday service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
I'm a total moron. I am a pound of gabagool from the deli. I'm an idiot, Pat, in real time. Hi, it's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. We're going to continue to update you on Wimbledon. We've already had a fun first hour of the show. Continue to play with. So the end of the show, we end with every single week about 11:40 Eastern. We do DGen bets. We give out a DGen bet, degenerate bet, something maybe you're not thinking about. And then Patty's got a beef bet, and I give you something called a Sunday Scary, which is a parlay to kind of help dig yourself out of a hole. In that break, I firmly cooked up my Sunday Scary. All right? Tell you right now, 5 legs, 13-1. Here's the problem, Pat. Here's the problem.
What's the problem?
It didn't click with me, or it didn't register in my brain that by the time I give out this Sunday Scary, 2 legs are off the board because I took 2 legs in the Yankee-Oriole game, because that's got to start at 11:30 in the morning on something called Roku Channel. So now I got to recook up a Sunday Scary, because what are we going to do the last segment of the show if I'm like, by the way, I'm going to give out my Sunday Scary now? How stupid. Also, I have TVs throughout my house, smart TVs. I got TVs coming out ceilings, this, that, the other thing. I don't know where to find Roku TV. I haven't watched a single one of these games on Roku TV, and now the Yankees are on it. I understand this is the business we're in. Apple TV, Amazon Prime, this, that, the other thing. I can't stand it. I don't care. I'm 37. I'm not 67, and I can't stand it. But now Roku TV and 11:30 has now screwed up the show for me because my Sunday Scary is up in smoke.
Yeah, I agree. Rob Manfred just, illustrates once more the pig that he is. You're not the NFL. You're not the NFL, where we will go and get Amazon Prime for Thursday Night Football, where we will go and get Peacock for a playoff game, where we will go, and if you don't have Netflix, where we will go and get Netflix to now watch Christmas Day games. You're not the NFL. So nobody wants to get Roku. Nobody wanted to get Apple TV. I would kill to see the ratings on the Apple TV Friday night games and these Roku Sunday morning 11:30 games, which I think they had on Peacock last year, right? Those were the 11:30 a.m. or the 12 p.m. Sunday games last year. It is a joke. And you know what? And it pisses me off, too, because I got to do a radio show in New York tonight. I got to talk about a Yankee game that I'm probably not going to watch because I don't have Roku. So riddle me that, Sean. Riddle me that one.
Dude, how do you – same way. I got to get in the air tomorrow. It's a big game, too. I mean, this is obscene. Ridiculous. I'm looking right now. I can't find it on this TV. It's silly. So anyway, I'm going to have to cook up a new Sunday Scary. So stupid. So absolutely stupid. All right. Do you have an update on Wimbledon?
Yeah, this is it's looking like one-way traffic right now. We do have a third break. We need 7, over 6.5 total breaks to serve. I also have over 41.5 total games, and the match to go 5 sets at plus 200. Well, those last 2 ain't looking so hot. It's set in a break lead now for Alcaraz. He's up 6-2 to love, 6-2, 2-0. So Djokovic needs to wake himself up, do a little espresso, maybe a little smelling salts underneath the nostrils there, wake it up, like after a night of drinking when you were in college on Friday night, and your friends say, get up, we're going day drinking here on a Saturday, and you're thinking, I can't do it. A little smelling salts, right, a little PDs, get the blood flow going here, get the heart rate up, and get into this match. He's won the most Grand Slam titles of all time. I understand Alcaraz, the next greatest thing, he's a robot, he's a machine. Djokovic needs to wake up, and I still think he will. I still think there's a lot of twists and turns coming in this match. Alcaraz has not played at this level really for most of the tournament, except for the last 2 sets of the semifinal match. So I do think Djokovic is going to make a push here. And if you think so as well, maybe now would be a time to take a live bet. But for me, I want to see Djokovic at least show a pulse in this match, which he has not shown so far.
Yeah, it's no joking matter right now at all for Novak.
Okay.
By the way, not the only big deal for England today. They are chasing their first national soccer title since 1966. More on that in a little bit from the Euros. I'm all over it, baby. I'm all over it. Somebody call me the English Tea Party. Wait, no, that wasn't the name of it. What was it?
It was the Boston Tea Party, Sean.
It's time for some hot takes and hot cakes.
Morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
All right. What's really good about this is that I'm going to give you a hot cake now. I had a hot take. I guess I could give that afterwards. But here's my hot cake, because it's going to be two legs of what was my Sunday Scary. I'm pairing them together right now, and then you'll get plus 134 odds on. Over 9 runs, Yankees, Orioles. Dean Kramer on the mound. Carlos Rodon, who has stunk on the mound. I love a nice warm day in Baltimore with the ball flying all over the place. Secondly, I'm pairing that with Aaron Judge, 2 or more total bases. Either the Orioles are going to do what they did Friday night, which is put Aaron Judge on base constantly, walking him. He could get 2 walks in this game, get you to the 2 total bases. Or he's going to do what he's done in each of the last 2 games, which is hit another freaking home run, which clears 4 total bases. So I'm pairing over 9 runs with Aaron Judge, 2 or more total bases at plus 134. A hot cake for you. What do you got, Pat?
Yeah, I got to take. We got the home run derby coming up tomorrow night here, and I just got to say, for anybody that has now, I just feel like it's herd sheep mentality, where anybody now, anything that's like all-star break, all-star game / all-star contest related, it's, oh, this sucks. It's not even worth to watch. Just get rid of it. Scrap it. The NBA slam dunk contest, stupid. Get rid of it. Oh, the all-star game, stupid. Nobody cares about it. Get rid of it. Oh, I hate everything. I'm a miserable old piece of crap. You're the old man who yells at clouds if you are trashing the home run derby. If you're not excited for the home run derby tomorrow night, I don't care what age you are, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. The home run derby is everything that got us excited, everything that tickled our little butterflies in our stomach, that made our eyes beam and glow up as young kids playing wiffle ball in the front yard, wishing that we were Ken Griffey Jr., wishing that we were Sammy Sosa, wishing that you were Barry Bonds, wishing that you were Hank Aaron or any great home run hitter of the last 80 years here. It's to hit home runs. It's to hit dingers, right? Who's the little fat kid from the Little League World Series like 10 years ago?
I hit dingers.
And I hit dingers. That's what we all
He's in great shape now.
Is he? All right, well.
Yeah.
Big Al. How about that? So, you know what? That's what we all grew up wanting to do, was hit home runs. And tomorrow night, sure, you don't have Aaron Judge, who's the best home run hitter in the sport, and I guess you could rip him for not doing the home run derby, but with the injury past he's had, there's no reason to really try it. You still have titanic home run hitters that just mash baseballs for a living. Pete Alonso, Adolis Garcia, Marcell Ozuna, the top 3 favorites here. Those guys are going to obliterate baseballs tomorrow. And if you're not excited for that, no matter what the format changes or the bracket changes or whatever they've done with the timer and the money balls, I don't care over the years. If you're not excited for the home run derby, and I'm not saying you got to be eyes glued, like watching every single second, but if you're looking at the home run derby tomorrow night and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't even care, I'm not going to watch it, you're just an old man who yells at clouds. You're a misanthrope. You're a miserable person, and I suggest you seek help, and I don't feel sorry for you. You're pathetic. You're a pathetic excuse of a human being if you're going to trash the home run derby, which, again, is every one of our dreams as a kid growing up. So, and I think this year it's probably going to be one of the best home run derbies in years, because I can understand there is gripes, right? There are gripes at the home run derby. The last couple of years, they've gone with
Pat.
Okay, ruined it? No. It's not as great as it could have been. I will agree with that, because we can't really admire a lot of the majestic tape measure shots like we could in years past, where they got 10 outs. We had Chris Berman back.
Right.
Where you got to see every ball off the bat to landing in the seats or in a river or in a body of water from start to finish, right? They go with the timer. They wanted more home runs. They wanted to speed it up. This year, you get a max of 40 pitches. I'm not sure what the exact time is per round, but you're going to have more time in between swings, and you're going to at least be able to admire some of these home runs, some of these jaw-dropping, eye-opening Titanic moonshots a little bit more. So I think the home run derby is going to be as entertaining and as pleasant to view on TV as it has in the last 10 years. But again, in general, whether or not you like the format, whether or not you think we can't really see, you admire the home runs because they're swinging so fast, stop if you're going to complain about the home run derby. Get a life, get a hobby, go touch some grass.
I'm not going to complain about the home run derby because I've come to the realization, much like the NBA's dunk contest, I'm an NHL guy too, like the skills competition, all of that. It's not for me, and that's okay. It was at a time really for me. It is about kids and enjoying that, and I used to love the All-Star Game, the home run derby. In fact, it was the last one I really still enjoyed out of all the sports. In the last couple of years now, I've even gravitated away, but I also understand that complaining about it, like you're saying, Pat, like being a loser about, oh, the home run derby sucks. It's also silly, too, because you got to realize you can enjoy it. I'm not telling adults not to enjoy it, but it's really not targeted for us. And if there was any more proof of that, just think about, even the pace of play, like you brought up, what they changed the format to. And for me, that was really the different change of this. Like, I understand the 10 swings, people taking pitches get a little boring. 10 outs, how many home runs can you hit? Anything that's not a home run that's a swing is an out. Like, that was so simple, so easy, and they overcomplicated it over the last couple of years to the point then it was brackets and this and that. No. The top 4 guys out of the top 10 outs move on. It was so easy, and they convoluted it, and they ruined it for adults. But look, if the kids like it, that's all that matters. Me, maybe because Pete Alonso's in it and I do New York sports radio, maybe I'll feel obliged to have to watch it Monday. But also I could just go through what happened on YouTube the next morning. Last year, I know I was away. I was up in Lake George. I didn't see a second of the home run derby or the All-Star Game. In fact, I could tell you at this moment on July 14th, 2024, with the All-Star Game some 2 days away, I don't even know the location of the home run derby and All-Star Game, what ballpark they're in this year.
Globe Life Field, Texas. Read a book.
Okay, it's in Texas. I didn't even know that. Didn't even know that. That's how little I have been interested in the home run derby and the All-Star Game.
Well, that's a
matter of fact, I will tell you this. I am assuming, and mind you, I watch so many games nonstop. I'm assuming that Aaron Judge, in fact, I know Aaron Judge was voted in. I'm assuming Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are All-Stars. I'm a New York Yankee fan. I have zero idea if they have another All-Star besides that. Like, that's
Clay
how
Holmes.
little I paid attention to even the games. Clay Holmes made it. Okay. That's how little I've even been into my own team that I didn't even realize when the rest of the roster got announced.
You do New York sports radio. You don't know that Clay Holmes is an All-Star?
I was off all week. When did they announce the reserves?
I don't know. The beginning of last week, probably? No, last Sunday. I think it was a week ago.
Okay, so it was last Sunday. So I haven't even been on the air to even discuss that. That's how little I've been interested in who made the All-Star team or not. No
well,
idea.
Don't you think that's probably
Don't even know who the Mets represent. Don't even know who the Mets represent. Is it Lindor? Is it Lindor?
No, Alonso's the only All-Star.
Wow, Lindor didn't make the team. See, I don't even know that. And I work in New York sports radio. I don't even know who was on the All-Star team.
Well, don't you think that's specific to you, that maybe you were off the last week, so you unplugged, but like most people who aren't doing sports radio, that aren't locked into the teams on a normal daily basis, but are fans of the Mets or the Yankees, don't you think that at least they follow these accounts on social media, or they watch TV and say, oh yeah, that's our guy, he's an All-Star.
But think about how many people aren't into or don't do sports radio. Like, I bet you there's a lot. I guess if you're watching the games and they bring up who's an All-Star, who's not, to be sure. But I bet you that many people don't care. I did see that Paul Skeens is starting the All-Star game, which I think is brilliant by Major League Baseball. That I'm interested in. That I think Paul Skeens pitching in the All-Star game is the most fascinating part of what's going to happen this week. Outside of that home run derby, let the kids enjoy it. Not for me. Won't even bet it. That could be in my backyard. I draw the blinds.
All right, Mad Dog.
That's right.
All right, Mad Dog.
Great line.
By the way, I did a whole segment on Friday night with Denton Day on BetMGM tonight as Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Like a whole 12 minutes.
Did you? Wow,
yeah.
You were out of material that badly, huh?
No, I just decided I did it. I did it about the John, I forget what I did, the Mad Dog Russo thing about when I started the impersonation, and then they basically dared me to do it for a whole segment. And Patty's not going to shy away from a bet. But even again, you're like, oh, I'm not even going to bet the home run derby. Okay, so you can't just enjoy it as us with gamblers. No. Whereas a lot of our interest in watching games, and I'll admit this, a lot. Like I would say, not 50%, but probably close to that. At least like the Thursday night football games, like 60% of the reason I'm watching is because I'm betting on it. Like, for once, you can't watch something and enjoy it that you don't have money on?
Nah, I can. Tonight I'm watching House of the Dragon. Tomorrow I'm going to binge watch Sausage Party on Amazon. They came out with a TV show after that all
What
morning.
are you going to bet on with that?
I'm not going to bet on anything, but I'm going to take a break from sports at the All-Star break like I should.
By the way, I'm very
I'm a
excited.
red-blooded American.
Sausage Party, it's a full show now, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. So that could be one, where those who take edibles may indulge and watch Sausage Party. BetMGM presents us 5-Star Weekend. We're going to continue next, and we're 20 minutes away from Dingbat with your home run props for the day. We'll see you in a couple minutes, folks.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Your way into work and want to keep listening to us even after you've parked the car? With the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can just download the app or visit Odyssey.com, search BetQL, and click on our show, which is 5-Star Weekend. Favorite us to make it even easier for you. Download the Odyssey app today to get started. It's Sean Morash. It's Pat Boyle. This is 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Fun morning already. We've done a lot. And Pat will keep updating us on Wimbledon. We've done a lot of look-aheads, future stuff, make the playoffs in the NFL. We're going to have some fun with fantasy and what you should be prepping for your draft with wide receivers in just a moment. But with Wimbledon, Bud, what's going on?
Yeah, the good news is we've got 4 breaks to serve. And my favorite bet for this championship match was over 6.5 total breaks. So we've got 4. The bad news, Alcaraz has all 4 of them. He is crushing Djokovic 6-2. 5-2. He's going to serve for the second set. It would be massive if Djokovic could wake up now and at least build a little bit of momentum, break back here. But it looks like he's going to be 2 sets to love down, and we're going to need a big comeback from Djokovic to then hit the over 41.5 games or 40.5 games, which I got right before the match started. And also for this to go 5 sets at plus 185. It was plus 200 last night. But I checked right before our show started, plus 185. So Djokovic in a massive hole. He is getting crushed. He is not doing well with the volleying at the net. He's not serving well, and Alcaraz is playing his A game. So we need Alcaraz's level to drop a little bit. We need Djokovic's level to pick it up. Anything's possible. It's Novak Djokovic. He's won 24 Grand Slam titles, most all-time by a man, tied for the most all-time in the history of the sport. If there was ever a time for him to show that, it would be now because he's getting crushed. So unless he wins this third set or unless there's 3 breaks in the third set, it's going to be a big fat L for Patty Boy.
Okay. Stunner. Pat and L's, they go hand in hand.
What are you
like
talking
lamb
about?
and tuna fish.
Done nothing but give out wins during this tournament.
You're Patty Boy L. That is your name here for
That's
now
funny.
on.
Let's
on
not forget
BetQL.
my biggest futures bet of this tournament was Djokovic to get to the semifinals at plus 100. That won with ease. And then I had Tommy Paul plus 650 to get to the semifinals. It came down to him beating Alcaraz. He won
You're
the first
just making
set.
up names.
No, I'm not.
You're just making up names.
The quarterfinal match, Tommy Paul was a massive dog against Alcaraz. He was
Tommy
plus
Paul.
650 to get to the semifinals before the tournament. He won the first set, and live betting, he was a favorite in that match. And then Taylor Fritz to win Wimbledon was plus 5,000, and he had a chance to get to the semifinals, and he choked away his quarterfinal match. So, yeah, I'd say it's been a pretty good tournament. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Patty Boy L. There you have. All right. Amir kisses Tommy Paul's as real as Ricky Bobby. And our show chat. All right, Amir, pop on here, man. We're going to have to draft some fantasy wide receivers and make our case for who should be going where. Our producer Amir pops on camera now. twitch.tv/BetQL. We got Pat finally in a little bit of a blender here, Amir, which is good. We have him working through it. Didn't put the hair gel in yet, but we finally got him on the ropes. So we know the deal. Last week we drafted tight ends. We're going to have fun with fantasy each and every week, and it coincides with the executives pumping out their lists like we went over with the tight ends a little while ago. So you know the way we do this. Rock, paper, scissors determines first pick. This is going to be Snakes on the Brain, the name of the segment. Here we go. Can we do a little rock, paper, scissors first? We'll figure out who's picking what, and we'll see if we get a three-way tie or whatever. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Oh, Amir picks first. We both put out paper, me and Pat Boyle. Pat, since you are Patty Boyle, I'll let you pick second. I'll pick third. How about that?
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Amir, start us off with the wide receiver draft, pal. Woo!
He was going crazy last year before he got hurt at the end of the year. Led the league in receiving yards. So I'd expect him to run it back and have like a pretty similar season. So he feels safe with no quarterback coming off injury, no other situation necessarily making him less desirable. So going to go him.
All right. Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go second.
Well,
I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Well, hold on.
What?
You said you were going to go last. You said you were going to let me go
Oh,
second.
you're right.
No, he's going to snipe you now.
No, I'm not going to take Justin Jefferson. I'm going to take the obvious pick, and I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb here at number 2. Just like you said, contract year coming up for Tua, contract year coming up here for Dak, unless they get a deal done in the next month and a half, which seems unlikely. CeeDee Lamb almost rewrote the record books last year for the Dallas Cowboys, and there's nobody that's taking away touches from him on this offense. I mean, they're bringing back Ezekiel Elliott to lead the running back room. What a joke. Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, the number 2 and 3. We know Kevontae Turpin is their deep route, and then you got Ferguson, Schoonmaker, Hendershot, the classic names at tight end. CeeDee Lamb is going to get a bazillion touches this year. I mean, how many games in a row did he have 100 yards and a touchdown last year? 1,750 yards, 12 touchdowns from a season ago. Nothing is changing about his role in this offense. Nothing is changing about the importance he's going to have and the reliability, the reliance that Dak Prescott's going to have on him. So CeeDee Lamb is my first round, second overall pick.
All right, it's Justin Jefferson for me. Like I was just alluding to, I know, look, Patty, first of all, big-time hypocrite. Pumps up Sam Darnold from here to Kingdom Come. Doesn't take Justin Jefferson second. Tells you all you need to know about Patty Boyle. Doesn't even have confidence in his own bets. Otherwise, he'd be taking Justin Jefferson here. He's all world. He's the best receiver in the game. He's going to figure out the stats. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback there. Number 4 for me as we do the loop around, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, how could you not? He's going to feast. I mean, that's an anytime touchdown scorer bet every single week. The leader of that Lions offense. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown, pick number 2 on my wraparound. Back to you guys, Pat.
Yeah, Shawnee Marash, another hypocrite, saying that the Bengals are, the number 1 team to make the playoffs after they missed last year, pumping up Joe Burrow, the second best odds he thinks, or the second most likely team to win the Super Bowl this year. How do you not take Jamar Chase coming back with Joe Burrow here this year? Jamar Chase, over the last 3 seasons, in the first 3 seasons of his career, he has already amassed over 3,600 yards, and he's already scored 29 touchdowns in his career. So 16 games last year, a lot of them with Jake Browning as his quarterback, and he still put up 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Burrow is back. Jamar Chase and Burrow, massive year coming. Jamar Chase, second round pick for me, 4th overall.
Amir. All right, then coming back to the top, I'm going to go ahead and take A.J. Brown. We're going to go A.J. Brown with the Eagles. I think it'll be interesting to see what the dynamic is with Saquon Barkley and how he kind of structures into their offense as far as like from a target standpoint, because he can do so much. But it's hard not to go A.J. Brown, 5th most receiving guards last year. He's still going to have that same partnership with Jalen Hurts. So I expect him to still be that 1A guy there. So I'm comfortable sticking with him. And then let's see, since we're going to have to double it up, let me go with – you know what? Let's jump up with a guy who I'm really big on to take a jump this year. Give me a George Pickens off the board without
What?
Deontay Johnson coming back there. I want George Pickens, and I
That
think he's gonna
high?
have a break. I think he's gonna have a breakout year. That's what I'm gonna go with. I think that
Okay.
just looking at his target share from last year in the games that Deontay Johnson didn't play in, he actually profiled in like the 90th percentile, which is just player like target and production share. So George Pickens, it's a little bit of a risk, but I think that's what I want to go with, just given some of the other receiver rooms, guys that added depth. Like DJ Moore is really good last year. You look at what the Bears added, and some of these other guys have added dynamics of it could be like a little bit of a power struggle and new quarterback kind of situation. So that's what I want to stick with. And then I know Russell Wilson is not the guy you necessarily have wanted throwing the ball to your guys in the last couple of years, but I'm gonna go for a reach and go with Pickens, man. That's my second one.
So when you picked George Pickens, Pat Boyle's eyes and stunned face looked exactly how mine did at a movie theater about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I saw Rose's breasts in Titanic during that drawing scene. That was the same eyes that Pat Boyle made when you took George Pickens there. Pat, is that fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Amir could be onto something. Maybe this is finally the year you get actual production out of the quarterback in Pittsburgh. But man, I mean, George Pickens is basically ranked 30, 29, 27 at highest on most like experts fantasy boards here. So he just went 7th overall here, 20 spots. I think generously 20 spots ahead of what he is going to go in most fantasy drafts in terms of the wide receiver taken. So Amir, if you nail him, then props to you, credit to you, man. I'm gonna go with a slight reach, which I thought going into this pick was going to be not as big of a reach, I think, as Amir is taking. And again, I'm high on him. A lot of people are. He's the best player in the NFL draft this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. from the Arizona Cardinals. Again, Kyler Murray coming back, first full season coming back from injury now. There's nobody else on this team that is an iota of talent that compares to Marvin Harrison. Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, the Human Torch, Greg Dortch are the other receivers on that team. Trey McBride had a breakout season towards the end of last year in year 2. But come on, there is nobody that is taking touches away from Marvin Harrison Jr. If he stays healthy and it's Kyler Murray at quarterback and you don't have to see Desmond Ridder or Clayton Tune or, God forbid, anybody else that the Cardinals pull off the scrap heap here, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a massive rookie season. So I'm going to go ahead and take him 8th overall. He's my 3rd-round pick.
All right, 9th overall for me, I'm taking Garrett Wilson. Look, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy, Garrett Wilson's put up stats with Zach freaking Wilson. Even if I don't think that highly of the Jets as a playoff team, I think Garrett Wilson's going to absolutely shine this year. Give me Garrett Wilson, great value, 9th as a 9th receiver here. And as I wrap around 10th, I'm going to take the wrong Ram guy probably, but I'm going to go back to Cooper Kupp. As much as everybody fell in love with Puka Nacua last year, it's going to be Cooper Kupp for me because he's still ultimately a guy that's just going to get a ton of targets, and Matt Stafford absolutely loves. Give me Cooper Kupp, 10th overall in my 4th-round pick. Pat, back to you.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that. That's a good pick. I don't know if now Puka Nacua would be the next one of the next obvious options. I don't think he's the most obvious option. I'm going to take a guy that is, basically being ranked 13, 14, 15, I think, in that range in terms of fantasy rankings. But, again, he's consistent. He's durable. He puts up big numbers every season. Now, I know he had an ugly finish to last year, but this is a guy that has either eclipsed 1,000 yards receiving or has come within 100 yards of eclipsing 1,000 yards in all 5 years of his NFL career. 6 touchdowns is the least amount he has scored, and he averages 9. He's projected to go for 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. So I think those are very, very good numbers, worthy of a guy that's going to go here at, number 11 overall. Give me DK Metcalf of the Seattle Seahawks. We know his importance in the offense. Sure, it's a little bit more balanced, that Seahawks offense, than it's been in years past, with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, the 2 running backs, and Tyler Lockett as a steady number 2 option who is capable of going for 100 yards if Metcalf does get doubled all game. But also the emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba towards the end of last year. I don't think teams are just going to be able to double DK Metcalf at will. I think he's going to be there for his touches. He has played every single game in just about every season of his career. So I'm getting the consistency, I'm getting the durability, and of course I'm getting the talent. Give me DK Metcalf.
I like it, Pat. Amir, wrap around for your last 2 picks, I believe here, right?
What should be my last one, just in general?
No, this is 4, and then you're gonna take your 5th.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Well, first, I'm going to start with another breakout guy who, I know there's a lot of Jets discourse on this show, but I think the consensus in general is that Garrett Wilson is going to have a much better year. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson, my first one. Fourth
I
in
just
targets in
took
the
him.
NFL.
Shawnee
I
just
Oh,
took
did
him.
you?
took him.
Oh, I missed it.
Yes. I took Garrett
bad,
Wilson
guys.
into Cooper Cup. Jeez.
Oh, okay.
Man.
I missed the
All
I
right.
missed the Wilson part.
You better,
On that
let's
note,
go.
you know what? Let me circle back and go with a guy who I talked about before. That we talked about like receiver rooms, adding new guys. Let me go Nico Collins then instead. Let's go Nico Collins. Even though they added Stephon Diggs to that room, I just think that the chemistry they already built with C.J. Stroud, they're going to continue to build on that. Like he's become his guy. He's going to continue to be his guy, and Diggs is just going to open up a little bit more space for him to continue to build that relationship. And then let's see. After I'm so thrown off by it when I couldn't get Garrett Wilson now because I missed your
We got 60
missed your pick
seconds
at
to
the
get 3
top.
picks in. So
Oh my God, that's fast. Let's go Michael Pittman Jr. just because we're pressed for time, and we'll keep it pushing.
A lot of
that's
questionable
on you
picks.
for not being prepared.
A lot of questionable picks.
Stinks. What do you got, Pat?
Yeah. All right. So let's just in 20 seconds here. You still have Devontae Adams. You still have Chris Olave. You still have Mike Evans. You still have Drake London. You still have Stephon Diggs. I'm gonna go with Ayuk. Ayuk is on fire. Give me Brandon Ayuk, who we know has got the big contract holdout right now. He's going to play, right? He's going to play this year. And as the number 2 receiver, I think you could say in San Francisco last year, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Yeah. He's got 5 touchdowns or more in all 4 of his seasons. Give me Brandon Ayuk. I don't care how many weapons San Francisco has. He's going to get his.
The Giants have a gaping Saquon Barkley hole. It's filled with Malik Neighbors. He's going to be everything in this Giant offense. He will be the offensive rookie of the year. He will be the reason the Giants are the 7th wild card spot there in the NFC. Malik Neighbors rounds it out, and all the awards that come with him. God bless him. I'm looking forward to the start of a Hall of Fame career for Malik Neighbors here in year number 1. All right, Dingbat is next.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle
Underwater for
Cody
sure.
Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player.
It's only for like 10 seconds.
Smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob.
Malik Neighbors' touchdown number is 5.5. How is he not getting 6 touchdowns?
I will not tolerate any Golden Tate slander.
I want all my money back from the Jalen Hyatt anytime touchdowns I placed last year. I mean, come on, man. No, I don't. The dude sucks. I've seen enough. He sucks.
And Kenny, you're still going to be the dingbat guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it. I like Robinson a lot, though. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think he's really good.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. A seamless transition to the game of seam. Baseball, home runs, dingers. It's the final Sunday before the All-Star break. Unbelievable. A little later All-Star break than usual, but here we are. We will have a week of home run derby tomorrow. We will have the All-Star game Tuesday. Then baseball gets going ahead next weekend. But either way, an interesting Sunday. And by the way, let me preface this by saying I'm going to give you a Sunday Scary later, where all 5 legs are player props, along with the segment we're about to do now, which is giving you our best home run bets of the day. Very, very tricky baseball prop gambling day annually. And let me just put this out there. We are going to give you our best plays within good consciousness, and I will do so again next hour. However, this is the type of day on this Sunday where, either you have some managers that go all out, hey, not going to see you guys for a week, or you get guys who are in the All-Star game, some of the stars, who might get pulled from games 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning to give them a little bit of an extended break because they don't have the same break the rest of the team can have. And that has happened in the past, and it has burned people on props. So I'm just saying this for my, responsible gaming. Buyer beware on baseball props involving All-Stars this year is all I'm saying. Okay? Now let's pop up Kenny, Gunnar, Henderson here as we do a little more rock, paper, scissors as we continue to really make an adult-like wagertainment show each and every single week. And we'll bet some dingers. I don't believe we had a full-on loser last week. Correct me if I am wrong. I don't think that's the case. Last week, Pat did sing for us. Kenny, do you have a cam? You have a slam cam for us for dingers or no? Of course. It's no big deal. I mean, we got Amir
There he
before,
is.
who's, not paying attention to what's getting picked. Dan's slow here on the take. Now Kenny's here. Kenny Gunnar Henderson, who's not sponsored by Under Armour, but is repping the hat anyway. You can watch twitch.tv/BetQL. Boys, you ready for another round of rock, paper, scissors here?
Yeah.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. All right. So I have thrown out a scissor. Kenny's thrown out a scissor, and Patty Boyle's thrown out a rock. He will rock you. Pat Boyle will go first. I'm not even going to do another round. I'm going to bend the knee to Kenny. He could pick second.
Facial,
I will pick
LaFleur.
Kenny,
Total facial.
Yeah. All right. Well, facialize us with some wins, Patty Boyle, because you're beginning at a lot of losses with that racket you call tennis. So here we go. Best home run bets of the day. Let's start it off with Patty Boyle.
Let's hit the music that we have for Dingbat first, if we could do that.
You're right.
Right here.
Who will win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb? It's time for Dingbat with Sean Marash and Pat Boyle on the bet.
On the bet. I'm going to the this Roku game, which starts in 45 minutes here. So Camden Yards, Shawnee says it, ball flies. It's going to be another hot, sweltering day in Baltimore. Let's go O's. Let's go O's. Taking to hit his first home run, Anthony Santander. Give me Anthony Santander plus 325 going up against the lefty Carlos Rodon, who's been getting rocked around the Christmas tree. Have a happy home run now. Santander plus 325 on BetMGM. He's got 6 home runs in 89 at-bats versus left-handed pitchers this year. And, he's been red hot over the last 2 months, which I know is a big sample size, but, he's hit a ton of home runs since June. So give me Anthony Santander to take Carlos Rodon into the seats.
It was the best rock you could have thrown out there, Pat. That's all I'll say. Best rock you could have thrown out there. Kenny, what do you got?
Well, Pat, I'll first say if the Jets don't make the playoffs and Sam Darnold gets benched for McCarthy, we know you can start auditioning for to be a singer. So
why is that
going for you? Because you're a great singer. I'm giving you props, and I'm saying like if some of the football takes don't go well, maybe a backup career there.
Okay, all right, Kenny, throwing in some shots. All
Kenny,
right.
is it possible to crank your audio volume a little more?
Am I louder now?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
apologize. I didn't even get a laugh from Sean on that one, so I guess that was bad. All right, anyway.
I'll try to run a show here, Ken.
right.
What are you going to do?
All right, that's fine. All right. All right. I guess you're the only one that can take funny shots at Pat. All right. I'm gonna go
Oh, no,
Kyle
no, no,
Schwarber.
no. Now you're making me feel bad. That was good. No, don't do that.
Take as many
All right,
shots
no,
as
it's
me
fine,
as you
it's
want,
fine.
Kenny.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll go Kyle Schwarber with the first pick here. Pretty chalky, but he hits home runs on Sunday all the time. One thing I know about the guy, he hits home runs all the time. But on Sunday here, going up against Joey Estes from the, I think that's how you pronounce the name, from the A's. He got rocked around. Talk about rock around the Christmas tree by the Red Sox last time he pitched. So I think Schwarber goes yard today.
Oh, well, look at that. Kenny, all right, keeping up with the theme. I get it now because Pat sung last week. I understand. All right, my pick here, first round. I'm following the trend here where Pat Boyle was going. Carlos Rodon has looked like Carlos Rodon over his past 4 starts. And you know a guy who also has looked done for the better part of 2 weeks, and the Orioles' struggle has been Gunnar Henderson. He has 1 home run in the last 14 days, but he has 27 on the year. He's only slugging .380 over the last 2 weeks. But I think he gives you a little meatball on the way out the door here. Give me, what the hell? Gunnar Henderson right now, plus 560 over at BetMGM to hit a home run today. Okay, back to you, Pat.
Okay, I am also
Great odds, by the way. Great odds.
Yes, I'm also expecting Joey Estes of the Oakland A's to give up another bomb. He's given up 7 home runs in 11 starts this year, 7 home runs in 57 innings. So quick math would tell you that's 1 per 8 innings. So not horrible numbers, but I mean, this Phillies offense, let's be honest, as I can't clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat.
God damn. All right, here we go. Yeah, so another Philly, not Kyle Schwarber, who I think Kenny took. I'm going with the guy that's going to be in the home run derby tomorrow night, who actually does not have a home run in his last 7 games. But if there's ever a time to start practicing, it would be in the final day before the All-Star break, when you know that you got to start getting that launch angle up through the roof there. Alec Boehm to hit a bomb at plus 340 off Joey Estes.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna take an Oriole. Both of you guys took an Oriole. I'm gonna take an Oriole as well, but I think you guys have the wrong Oriole. Adley Rutschman's hitting 400 against left-handed pitching this year. I think he's like plus 500. I have to check the odds depending on where you shop around. Plus 500, plus 475 to hit a home run against the Yankees today.
I like it, Kenny. I like it. That was actually going to be my pick right now. So I'm going to do the Kenny Henderson special here. It's called a layup. I'm taking Aaron Judge at plus 154 as he goes to beat Roger Maris on home runs before an All-Star break in Yankee history. With 1 more home run, he will pass Maris. I believe he tied him yesterday. And look, you're not getting great odds on this, but here's the deal. I don't trust Carlos Rodon today. The Yankees have already won a series. I think the Yankees will be down in this game early on. So much so that, as I gave away the total bases earlier, one way or another, the Orioles may be not worried about walking Aaron Judge left and right in this game if they're up 5 runs early, and you can get a cheapy Aaron Judge solo blast in this game, plus 154. Aaron Judge to hit a home run today. You can never go wrong with that bet.
Yeah, this last pick for me now as we get into the third and final of our dingbat picks. This is mostly because of the opposing pitcher. Also a guy that I think has just sheer home run power. But you know who's starting for the Colorado Rockies today? Might have felt like he retired. He's back off Tommy John surgery. German Marquez, the longtime Rocky. And this is just the Rockies saying, all right, you know what? Here's a little soft landing spot for you, maybe. I don't think it is. I think it's a hard landing spot against the red-hot Mets offense, who are averaging 6 runs a game since the month of June. Everybody in that lineup is raking, except for really the guy who got named an all-star, Pete Alonso. And German Marquez, first start of the season, first start in almost 2 years coming off of Tommy John surgery. There's going to be plenty of meatballs. And you know who I think takes advantage of one today? A guy whose exit velo has been off the charts for the better part of the last month and a half. Mark Vientos from the New York Mets to go deep today at plus 425. He's got 7 home runs in his last 30 games, only 1 in his last 7. But the exit velo, every single ball he hits is hard. He barrels up almost every single time. Well, not every single time, but he barrels it up a lot. He went deep on Friday. I think he goes deep again today on a hot, sunny day in Queens. Mark Vientos plus 425.
I like it. Kenny?
I'm going to go to a Met as well. I thought you were the whole German Marquez I thought you were definitely going to my guy. I'm going to go Brandon Nimmo 6-1. You guys probably know about him really well in New York. He's not really talked about nationally. I think one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. He's only hitting like 250, but he's got 16 home runs on the year. I think he hits number 17 today.
Ooh, I like that. Good play. All right. Ryan, I believe his last name is pronounced Pepio, if not Pepiot, the Rays
Pepio.
pitcher. Okay. Pepio. I had it right. He has gone 4 straight outings without surrendering a home run. In fact, it was almost a month ago today on June the 15th was the last game he allowed a home run. 3, in fact, to the Atlanta Braves in that game. The start before that, he allowed 2 home runs to the Baltimore Orioles. And the start before that allowed 1 home run to the Marlins. But now he's ripped off a recent hot streak here. Pirates, Mariners, Royals, Yankees, all managing to not give up a home run. You know what we say in the business with that? He's due. A guy who surrenders long balls at that rate to go 4 straight starts without allowing a home run, he's not going to make it a 5th straight start at home, controlled elements versus the Cleveland Guardians. So give me a guy who has carried a team to a surprising surge in the American League all year, Jose Ramirez at plus 450 to hit a home run off of Pepio and snap his streak of 4 straight starts without allowing a home run. The Guardians will win today versus the Rays on the back of Jose Ramirez at plus 450. How about that, fellas?
How about that?
Love it. We should parlay.
I
all
like
9
it. You know
of
what?
them.
That was healthy. That was healthy. And you know what we didn't do? We didn't do what Amir did during our fantasy draft and take somebody that was already picked. So that's a win for all of us. That is a win for all of us. And a lesson to be learned. I need to laugh at others' jokes and not always assume I'm the funniest guy in the room because oftentimes I'm not. And that's my apology to the staff here. That's my apology to you, the audience. But we will be better in hour number 3, including a GTFO or Oh Yeah coming up in about 25 minutes, including our best bets of the day, including a Sunday Scary. And Amir's just insulted us in the chat by saying he's probably the funniest on the show. To be honest, that's insulting. But I like the self-confidence as well. All right, a last hot take or hot cake coming up at the top of the hour. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. So, while we're in break, sad news out of Baltimore. Jacoby Jones, obviously remember him, that Super Bowl run from the Ravens, the blackout Super Bowl or whatever, 40 years old, has passed away. I have to be honest, the article I'm trying to read on the Baltimore Sun behind a paywall, so I'm not seeing, I don't know if you guys have picked it up on the cause of death. I know I'm kind of flying blind in here on this, but either way, extremely sad story, just 40 years old, the passing of Jacoby Jones, who obviously was a Texan standout as well. We remember him going crazy in that game versus Peyton Manning and the Broncos too, but 40 years old, far too young, Jacoby Jones passing. We touched on also, if you're just joining us for the final hour of the show, obviously the actions yesterday in Pennsylvania with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Absolutely asinine, actions. Somebody lost their life innocently yesterday. A family is grieving innocently over the unnecessary violence and chaos that seemingly every 4 years gets worse and worse. I don't know if it's the day and age of social media, the spreading of just nonsense, but the fact that we have to act like this and get it to the point of that where somebody's climbing a roof with a rifle is tragic. It's uncalled for. It's sickening. And over the next hour, yes, you might be waking up today, driving around. You might be looking for coverage of that. We are here to provide you the escape from that, okay? Because, and by the way, the escape from that as we go from here through the football season and whatnot, BetQL as a network, sure, might have fun with presidential odds and betting and stuff like that, depending on the show. But this is going to be, I think, I'm not breaking any news here, a really tumultuous few months and fall as we don't know how to behave ourselves with elections anymore. It's crazy. I don't know what is happening to this country. I hate to sound like the old man screaming at wall. It is crazy. But thankfully, if you want to break from that, that is what we hope. I know we will continue to provide each and every Sunday, and what we will as a network: sports talk, wagertainment talk, and just a breath of fresh air away from the political nightmare and nonsense that is now leading to assassination attempts. It's disgusting. It's despicable. We don't condone it, and we will move on here as a show and continue to try to give you laughs and hopefully some good bets along the way. Fair to say, Pat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So with that, Pat, do you have a Wimbledon update for us?
Yeah, so Djokovic is hanging on by a thread. He has had a couple chances here to break for the first time today, and he's not doing it. Alcaraz with a commanding lead, 6-2, 6-2, 2-3, but it's at deuce. So if Djokovic can break, then he's got life. And the three bets I gave at the beginning of the show, the big one, over 6.5 total breaks of serve. We've had 4 so far, all of them by Alcaraz. So if Djokovic can break here, that would give us number 5, and it would put him in position to win the third set and give us a chance to hit the over 40.5 total games. And then for this match to go 5 sets would be alive at plus 200. So again, Djokovic hanging by a thread. At this point, we're probably going to need him to win this set to have a chance to cash any of the 3 bets, but he's got life. We'll see if he can break here. And he's hanging in this game. It's back to deuce. So Djokovic hanging by a thread, but he looks a lot better than he did in the first 2 sets because, again, a month removed from knee surgery. He's looked pretty good with his movement all tournament. And, again, rematch from last year's final. I did not expect it to be this one-sided so far, but I've seen bigger comebacks than this. So, well, we'll see what happens here. We'll keep you updated.
Okay, and we have a big soccer day as well, which is interesting because I can already stare at the sheet and see that there's a little opposing take here on the Euros. And I feel pretty good knowing that Patty Boyle has become exactly that, constantly taking L's. So let's get hot takes and hot cakes cooking.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
I want to make this hot cake with the knowledge and the understanding with the audience. I, Shawnee McMuffins Morash, have always been bored by soccer. Even the big tournaments, every time I try to get in, I find it very difficult as a TV sport. I got roped in a couple weeks ago, finally going to my first MLS game. I'm not pretending to be some kind of soccer expert, but I know what's going on. I know what's up. And I woke up today bright and early, took the car out, made a little, whatever. They're not sponsored, but I made a little Dunkin' run, get the drinks. My wife set up. She had to take the kids to sports this weekend. And, I was going through what we were going to talk about today and just staring at the longevity, the Toronto Maple Leaf-like ineptitude of England on the national stage in soccer and knowing how many World Cups, Olympics, this, that, and the other thing. And to know whatever big tournament that involves a billion nations that happens in soccer, England has not hoisted a trophy here since 1966. And while many have been roped into the Euros and Copa, and obviously in a kind of dead period of sports right now, I understand how thrilling some of this tournament has been. The storyline of England, at least here, not winning a trophy, now finding themselves again in a final here in a spot in the Euros has kind of been like sneakily interesting, but not really discussed. And I just kind of think in America, as we sit down and watch this, where we could bet on this game on a hot and humid Sunday across the country here, as people tune in at about 3 o'clock Eastern to watch this game in the Euros. Call it a hunch, call it a gut pick. I think the underdog prevails here. The line opened, I believe, at plus 250 on BetMGM, if I'm seeing that right. Now it's at plus 247 on the money line. There is some money coming in on England. I believe England will win and snap this drought that none of us have seen in our lifetime of them hoisting a trophy on the national stage in men's soccer, and they will win the Euro Cup final today, Pat Boyle.
But you're not taking them to win in 90 minutes. You're taking them even if it's extra time or penalties, right? You're taking them just to win the game.
Just to win the game. Just to win the game.
Okay, and that is
the match.
Plus one.
I'm sorry.
Yes, and I think that's plus 124.
Right. I was going to say, because I've already bet this, so that's where I was getting confused staring at what's on our screen here. I got it at plus 114, okay, where I should have shopped around. All right, but that was obviously to win in 90. Right?
No, that's for them. That's for them to
win
win no matter what. In 90, in extra time.
So what you're showing
penalties.
me on the screen is that's okay. That's why those numbers looked outrageous. That's to win in 90. What's on the screen?
Correct.
Right, plus 247. Gotcha. Okay. There you go. See, as I said, I'm not a soccer novice, but go on.
Yeah, so Spain is on the left. They opened at plus 138 to win. And this is in 90 minutes. So again, you got to be careful with soccer, right? And that's the game, you can have a tie, and what am I betting? Just make sure that you're betting the right thing here. Again, when you see the graphic that we have up here on the screen, which again, you can watch youtube.com/BetQL, twitch.tv/BetQL. You can follow along with us. Obviously, you see where we get all the odds, all the graphics here. So let's just let me give out the odds here for everybody. So when you look at it and you have 3 different things you can pick, this is only based on 90 minutes. And again, if the game is tied after 90 minutes, there's going to be 30 minutes of extra time, aka overtime. And if it's tied after that, then we get penalties. So these odds you're seeing, the most common odds you'll see for a soccer game are only for the first 90 minutes. Now, of course, if let's say Spain wins 2-1 and after 90 minutes, the game's over, and then there is obviously no extra time or overtime. So Spain right now, plus 148. That means they have to win the game in 90 minutes. There can't be extra time. There can't be penalties. Spain at plus 148 means they need to win in 90 minutes. England plus 247. Obviously, same thing. That would mean England has to win in 90 minutes, plus 247, something they have seldom done in this tournament. And then if you think it goes to extra time or overtime, even if it goes to extra time and England scores in the 117th minute, and then there is no penalties and they win in extra time. If you take the draw, if it's tied after 90 minutes, that means you win. So draw plus 169, that means it's tied after 90 minutes. So there you go. The over-under, by the way, it is a slim 1.5. Everybody expecting this, as a lot of finals are, to be a very defensive, conservative game where it's tension. Maybe you're not going to get a lot of goals, but the over-under is 1.5. And since that is so small, of course, it's heavily juiced on the over, minus 213 right now on BetMGM. So I would not suggest laying that. I would not suggest making any bet really ever at minus 213 odds. If you do think there's only 1 goal or 0 goals in this, the under at plus 168, if you like that, I would suggest if you want to take the over, I would suggest seeing if you get a scoreless first half before getting in on the over 1.5. At that point, it'll be much closer to even odds. So there you go. But then, Shawnee, like you said, if you check out BetMGM, they will have to lift the trophy. So that is to win the game no matter what. 90 minutes, extra time, penalties. That is, you're looking for the team just to win the match, to win the game. England, I believe right now is plus 124. It might have come down a little bit. Spain, when I placed this bet just before our show, minus 140. I think Spain lifts the trophy. Whether they get it done in 90 minutes, extra time, or penalties, Spain is winning the title today at minus 140. They've won every single game so far. They have been the best team in the tournament. That's indisputable. And they have ran through the gauntlet here so far in the last 2 games, knocking out Kylian Mbappe in France and facing adversity in the process. They go down in the 9th minute. That's no problem. They show their resolve. They come back, score 2 goals in the first half, hold on for a 2-1 win. They knocked out Germany, the hosts, who looked just as good as Spain going into the match, and they had to do it in extra time with a 119th minute winner just before penalties. They rolled over Georgia. They convincingly beat Albania. They convincingly beat Italia 1-0, and they beat Croatia 3-0. They've only given up 3 goals in the entire tournament. So Spain, they're going to dominate possession, even without their star center midfielder, Pedri. They're going to dominate possession. They're going to get the lion's share of chances. England has been lucky. I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, they've been crushing their manager all the way up until the last match when he brings on Ollie Watkins, and the guy, makes him look like a genius because he scores on one of the first touches he takes. But they slipped by Netherlands. They came from behind to do it. They had to get by Switzerland in penalties. They had to get by Slovakia in extra time, a game in which they were a minute away from losing, if not from a Jude Bellingham bicycle kick. They drew Slovenia. They drew Denmark. They barely beat Serbia. They have not been a better team. Now, sure, Shawnee thinking the upset's coming here. Could they level up today and play their best game of the tournament? In theory, they could, but this is the best team they are playing this tournament. They have not played anybody near the level that Spain has been on. Spain's played 2 of the other 3 best teams in this tournament, Spain, Germany, and France. They beat them both. England, the best team they faced is Netherlands, and they came from behind. And I don't see where, unless you get a penalty, which is a chance, there is a chance of that happening. I think England got gifted a penalty in the last game against Netherlands. You get a couple of just lucky bounces. That's the game of soccer for you. Not the best team doesn't always win. And it's, probably 30% of the time, 35% of the time, you can see the worst team on the day win a game where they're being outplayed. But I just think Spain has been too good. They've shown they can win in a number of ways, coming from behind, dominating start to finish, doing it in extra time. They've got the gas tank to do it. They've got depth off the bench. I don't believe in England. I think Spain wins it. -140 to lift the trophy.
Well, there you go. So somebody here is going to get the win. It's either going to be me or it's going to be Pat. A little head-to-head on the hot takes and hot cakes. Quick little carryover, Pat. I know you have some thoughts. We will get to this in a second on the home run derby. Last hour, you gave out an Aaron Judge combined Yankee Oriole over hot cake. The hot take I was going to get before I forgot the game was at 11:30. We are now 2 episodes into Hard Knocks, offseason with the New York Giants. Forget the Giants part of it, that I'm into the Giants and everything else. The show, I think, just on a baseline and talking about NFL films and the expansion of this, and we've had training camps and in-season, I think off-season Hard Knocks has been an excellent watch through 2 episodes, and I'm a big I think every team should have to do it. I think we should spend 32 years of every team taking a turn in off-season Hard Knocks. I think it's a really fascinating look at a lot of stuff that we discuss in the off-season about the NFL and seeing how things actually operate. And I thought last week, kind of seeing how teams just sit there bored at times during the combine and making bets with each other. I think that HBO and Max and NFL Films has done a really good job, and I hope that this is not a one-off here with the New York Giants, and we get more NFL teams involved with off-season Hard Knocks. In fact, if the series was going to have to go away, I actually think I prefer the off-season version even more so than the in-season and the training camp. I think it's that cool and that different.
That's a good point. And I got to admit, after I didn't like the first episode, I like the second one a lot more. And you know what? I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give these last couple of these episodes a chance here. I'm not gonna be the old man yells at cloud with the Hard Knocks off season. I'm in right now. I'll watch the next couple episodes.
All right, Patty Boyle, who I'm always gonna call him that now for now on the Hard Knocks. All right, we're gonna have a GTFO, and oh yeah, we have still have our best bets coming up. I know Patty's gonna have some kind of because he's so into the home run derby, home run bets to give you as well. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Continue on next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
On a beautiful At least where I am. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. The heat, the humidity. I can't get enough. I love freaking summer, man. I love it. I wish it never ended. Some of you guys have it never end. If you live in Arizona, Florida, whatever have you. I love it. I can't get enough. Patty boy, before we get to GTFO or oh yeah, you've been all over Wimbledon here as Alcatraz faces here Djokovic. What do we got?
We have a potential miracle here if Djokovic can break. Now, again, just to recap the breaks, we needed over 6.5 breaks of serve, and then I put a little bit on over 40.5 total games, and did the match to go 5 sets at plus 200. Alcaraz has been crushing him 6-2, 6-2, 5-4. He just served for the match. It was 40-love. It was basically game, set, match. It was over. This is like, I don't know what the comparison is. This is like a team has the ball in victory formation. You're about to kneel on it. You're about to win, and then you fumble the snap, and the other team recovers. Now, he just got broken. I mean, this bet has life. We have life from the dead. Djokovic is back. 5-4, 40-love. Alcaraz needed 1 point to win it. And at 40-30, I was just watching right before we came back from break. Great serve. Djokovic basically like lobs it up in the air. Alcaraz in the air, about to swing it and hit a smash winner. Somebody screams out. Basically, I think thinking that it was going to go long and that he won. He misses the shot. Djokovic wins 5 straight points. He breaks. It's 5-all in the third. That was the 6th break of serve. We get one more, either from Djokovic or Alcaraz. We're going to win the main bet. And I am hoping Djokovic obviously wins this set and the next one and gives us a 5-setter. The point is, Shawnee, we were as dead can be. And now we have life. You got to ride the high. This could be a tease. This could go to a tie break. We might not get another break, and Alcaraz could win the tie break and win 6-2, 6-2, 7-6, and we lose every bet. But you know what? This is the thrill of gambling. We have a chance here. We have life.
And that's all you could ask for. That's all you can ask for. Quick correction. I didn't realize I had a slip of a tongue and called him Alcatraz. Of course, it's Alcaraz. I am an idiot, but that should be known if you listen to Betql's 5-star weekend. All right, we play a little fun game, GTFO or oh yeah, maybe not as fun as what's going on the grass in England, but either way, on our ass here, we're going to give you GTFO or oh yeah.
Time for GTFO or oh yeah.
Good little list put together by Amir as we clean up some things. Good little list. Let's start it off. The Bengals will win at least 2 playoff games this season. GTFO or oh yeah. I'm not even going to pitch it to you, Pat. Oh yeah, I'm on it. I've been telling you guys. It's Bengals or Chiefs who are going to win the Super Bowl. I think the Bengals do win the Super Bowl this year. So I think they're winning. Well, I guess they could have the 1 seed and win. That's what's tricky about this question. What seed are they? But ultimately, yeah, they're going to win at least 2. They're going to find themselves in the Super Bowl. At a minimum, they'll find themselves in the AFC Championship game. And if they have to play on Wild Card Weekend, then they win 2 anyway. Give me the Bengals to win 2 playoff games. Oh, yeah.
Djokovic holds, by the way, 6-5. Oh, man. At the worst, we're guaranteed a tie break. And if he can win this set, if he breaks here, we win the bet, and we have a chance to win the over and get to 5 sets. I'm going to go GTFO. Now, I think they can beat GTFO. If they avoid the Chiefs and if they avoid the Ravens in the divisional round, and obviously, again, it depends. If they're a top 2 seed, they're going to get a bye, so then winning 2 games gets them into the Super Bowl. If they have to play in the wild card round, 2 games gets them to the AFC Championship game. But I'm going to say GTFO because I just think it's more likely than not that they will get either the Chiefs or the Ravens in the second playoff game or the first playoff game.
They will eat the Ravens alive, dude. They will eat the Ravens alive in a playoff game.
Not necessarily. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Baltimore Ravens have. I think the Baltimore Ravens went into that AFC Championship game last year with the Kansas City Chiefs, not arrogant, but dumb, and they played a dumb game of football again. How many times did they pass out of the pocket? Even though they moved on from Greg Roman, it felt like the ghost of Greg Roman. He's not dead. I'm not trying to kill him. The OC ghost version of Greg Roman as the Baltimore Ravens OC appeared again before our very eyes in that AFC Championship game. Just a dumb game of football, dumb strategy, taking dumb penalties. So I think they'll be ready to go. I think they will learn from their mistakes. I think the Ravens have a shot at getting back to the AFC Championship game. So I think if the Bengals run into them or the Chiefs, they're going to lose. If they run into the Bills, they'll probably beat them again because the Buffalo Bills will Buffalo Bill. I think they beat the Dolphins in a playoff game. I think they beat the Texans in a playoff game. But I think it's more than likely they get the Chiefs or the Ravens in one of their first 2 playoff games. So I'm going to say GTFO.
All right, GTFO or oh yeah continues on. Someone not named Hill, Chase, Lamb, or Jefferson will lead the NFL in receiving yards. Pat, I'll start it off and I'll say GTFO. I think one of those 4 will. However, if I were to pick one person to lead the league in receiving yards, not named Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, or Justin Jefferson, it would in fact be Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think could explode this year with Kyler Murray just playing video games, for lack of a better term, with him. But ultimately, I think it will be one of those 4 that leads the league in receiving yards. So GTFO.
Yeah, I'm going to go GTFO as well. I mean, all those guys are machines. And the fact that one of them would not lead the NFL in receiving yards, Marvin Harrison Jr., good candidate. The other one, off the top of my head, A.J. Brown, and if not him, Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit. But there's just too many weapons. There's too many weapons on the Lions that it feels like Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have to rack up 1,700, 1,800 yards, which would then come at the expense of Jahmyr Gibbs. It would come at the expense of Jamison Williams. It would come at the expense of Sam Laporta on top of a running game. It's a very balanced offense that Ben Johnson runs. I can't imagine that Amon-Ra St. Brown is just going to get so much of it that it'd be taking away from the other guys. So, yeah, Hill, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, one of those guys is going to lead the NFL in receiving yards.
GTFO or oh yeah, at least one player in Spain, England will score multiple goals. I'm going to start out for every reason Pat gave a little while ago, so I'm assuming I know his answer. It's GTFO. I think this will be a very low-scoring game, and if it's a low-scoring game, how the heck is anybody scoring multiple goals, Pat?
Yeah, GTFO as well for me. Again, the over-under is 1.5. So if you think that one guy is going to score 2 goals, possible. Very possible. I think, Harry Kane is a good candidate for England if he gets one on a penalty and then he gets another one. I believe Spain's penalty taker would be their striker Alvaro Morata. So again, you would have to hope for a penalty then plus a goal to come from open play. If they scored a penalty shootout, that doesn't count as a goal. So let's get that straight here. So, again, I think a lot of people may be hoping that Lamine Yamal, the 16, now 17-year-old, guy's 17 years old. He scored an unbelievable goal in the semifinals. If he were to score 2 today, I mean, you're going to move over Leo Messi, move over Kylian Mbappe. It's going to be Lamine Yamal, where everybody's talking about as the best player on the planet. But I'm going to say GTFO. We are not getting a brace, as you call it in soccer, for 2 goals, let alone a hat trick. We're not getting multiple goals from one guy.
You mean you're wrong. All right, let's continue on. GTFO or oh yeah.
By the way, real
have
quick,
proven they're the
Real quick,
boy.
Alcaraz holds. We're in a tiebreak. So,
all right, here we go.
We're in some trouble. Obviously, if Djokovic doesn't win this, that means the match is over. That means we get hooked, and it would be 6 breaks of serve, the under hits, and obviously we don't get to 5 sets. So we need Djokovic to win this tiebreak.
All right, so you will continue to keep us updated. GTFO or oh yeah, the Phillies are the best team in baseball, or have proven they're the best team in baseball. Pat Boyle, to you.
GTFO. I mean, this is a GTFO kind of day for me. They have not proven they're the best team in baseball, and I don't know if anybody has. So maybe that's just
fair caveat.
Yeah, maybe by default. Again, for the sake of the argument, I'm going GTFO because I think if they play the Dodgers in the playoffs, I think the Dodgers beat them. If they get to the World Series, I think they could lose to Baltimore. Yeah, sure, they've got the best record at 62-33, but for the most part, they've been very healthy. Like the couple of injuries they've had, Schwarber and Harper, they only missed 8 to 10 games. So they've been healthy. Now, granted, they've the best pitching staff, at least so far in baseball this year. They've only given up 349 runs. Nobody else has given up less. They've got a plus 125 run differential. Only one other team, the Yankees, have over a plus 100 run differential. But I just don't think that they've proven that they are far away the best team in baseball. I think there's 3 or 4 other teams that are just as good as the Philadelphia Phillies, even if they don't have as good of a record.
I'm going, oh yeah, they have proven it. Somebody has to have proven it. Even if you don't believe in them, great week they just had versus the Dodgers. You say, if they go to the World Series versus the Orioles, I got to see the Orioles starting pitching come together. That's a team who just got swept by the Cubs, might get swept by the Yankees starting here in a couple minutes, who have stunk as well. Yeah, I mean, the Phillies have knocked on the door enough, right? I mean, going to a Super Bowl 2 years ago, going to a World Series 2 years ago, obviously NLCS last year. At some point, you poke your head out and you got to be the team that prevails and wins the World Series. And right now, the way things have shaped up, we still have 2 months where things will completely change. But if you're asking me on July 14th who the best team in baseball is, to me, it's the Philadelphia Phillies, and that's the nature of the question. So it's oh yeah for me. Now, the next one, Aaron Judge will hit more than 62 home runs this season. The 62 he hit 2 years ago. I haven't gotten into this, man. Even as a Yankee fan, Pat, I don't know where you are. I haven't gotten into this home run charge by Aaron Judge, but I'm going to say GTFO. I think he has an IL stint awaiting him in the second half of the year.
And I think that's the trepidation of not only Yankee fans, Shawnee, like yourself, but baseball fans in general, is that Judge has stayed healthy. I mean, he missed what? He missed 2 games this year. He's only missed 2 games, right? He had a little hand when he got hit on the hand by the Orioles.
Right.
He's been a clean bill of health, and he's playing center field, playing right field. They're DHing him occasionally, but he's been healthy. But he's on pace. I believe he's on pace for what, 62? He's almost dead on
He's
pace.
right on pace, yeah.
So, are you sure? Because he's got 34 home runs, and they've played, what, 97 games? Doesn't feel like he's on pace.
Oh, he's on pace for 57. Sorry.
Yeah. So he's not on the pace. Now, again, we know Judge can hit, 10 home runs in a 20 game span, and then all of a sudden, he's back on the pace. And obviously staying healthy is important. I'm going to go, oh, yeah. Because I do think he stays healthy. And if he does stay healthy, we know, like I said, the run he can go on is at an incredible pace. So I'm going to, for the sake of the argument, like you said before, he's 1 home run away from breaking Roger Maris's record of most home runs before the All-Star break. And Roger Maris hit 61, I believe, in that same season. So, yeah, I'm going to go, oh, yeah. I think Judge does it again. I think we're witnessing in September and October another legendary home run from him. Home run.
All right. We will see an NBA contract exceed $500 million in the next 3 years. It's an oh yeah for me. We just saw the expanded play TV deal. Peacock's involved, Amazon's involved, this, that, and the other thing. Somebody will find it, whether that ends up being the next deal for the Joker, whether that ends up being the next deal for Luka. Somebody's going to sniff around and I think hit the 500 mil mark. I think it's just been catastrophically growing and growing and growing. Pat, you disagree?
I do because most Supermax contracts, like the most years they give on a Supermax is 5 years, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember
so
the last
100 mil.
Yeah, I can't remember the last Supermax contract extension in the NBA that's more than 5 years. So yeah, it would have to be $100 million a year. Jaylen Brown is getting 60, right? 5 years, 300 million or just over that, right. 61, 62. So in the next 3 years, yeah.
But think about guys who are going to come up in the next 3 years, like those 2 guys specifically I mentioned.
Totally understood. And like I said, I think Brunson will be eligible for 5 years, $420 million in 2028 or in the 2027 offseason. So not crazy to think that there could be a contract that's only worth $75 million more than that. But I'm going to say at least in the next 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 5. And we're, basically grasping at straws at this point. But in the next 3 years, no, GTFO, we will not see a contract surpass $500 million.
All right, GTFO or oh yeah, Paul Skeens will lead the Pirates to the postseason. This is a GTFO for me. You just saw the way he got pulled after 7 innings throwing a no-hitter earlier this week. I'm juiced for him. I'm juiced for him in the All-Star game. But I don't think the Pirates will ride him enough like a horse to get them to the postseason. I think they will fall short in what is still a muddled NL wildcard picture.
Yeah, I agree. GTFO. And, Shawnee, I'm on the edge of my seat here. It's 4-3 in the tie break, and I'm hanging by a thread here. So I'm just going to ask for the next 60 seconds before we go to break that you kind of carry here. Yeah. And hopefully on the other side of the break, we've got a 4th set coming up.
All right. So I'm going to answer the last one to myself. GTFO or oh yeah, the U.S. men's basketball team will not win gold at the Olympics. GTFO, they're going to win gold. In fact, I think that you will find the most unentertaining Olympic tournament to date, which you would think should continue to get better knowing the global change here in men's basketball. But I think the men and women of USA are going to run away here at Paris, and I think it is going to be uncomfortably disastrous. Pat's shaking his head no. I got to assume that's not at my answer and assume it's at the tennis match. Did we lose here with the Joker?
No, but he just missed a shot, so it's 5-3. Tiebreak is 1-7, win by 2. So now we're going to need another comeback here in this tiebreak.
So we'll see what happens in our next commercial break before we close the show. Will Pat even have his head on straight to give a beef bet? He's going to have major beef, I guess, with the tennis world. Maybe he'll bet against Alcaraz at the Cincinnati Open. Maybe that's what's going to happen here. Maybe that's
Very good. That's next month.
How about me? How about me knowing what's coming up on the tennis circuit? People say I look like Mr. Potato Head. People say I look like an egg. But I got more knowledge about the things I don't know than you realize. And with that, degenerate bets are best bets of the day. BetQL's 5-star weekend closes out next.
BetQL 5-star weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. I feel like the show has flown by here. We've been tracking the Wimbledon men's final here. Sean Morris and Pat Boyle. Pat, before we get into kind of our final closing bets of the day, you want to give your update on where you're at here with the Wimbledon men's final?
Yeah, it's over. Alcaraz wins. 6-2, 6-2, 7-6. We get hooked. 6.5 breaks of serve. We needed 7. We finished with 6. I mean, what a tease, dude. I was ready. You know, that's the worst as a gambler. When you're ready to lose, you've accepted losing, and then you get a little bit of hope, only to lose anyway. Rips your heart out like that. Are you kidding me? That's the worst feeling. Because I accepted it. I was like, all right, wait, whatever. Made the wrong play. Made the wrong bet. Djokovic, the knee was obviously a bigger issue than I thought. Hadn't really faced any stiff competition. And Alcaraz, who had been shaky basically all tournament long, brought the A game from start to finish. And then 5-4, 40 love. Basically, the match is over. It's over. And he chokes, gives it away. We get the 6th break. Djokovic holds for 6-5. And the guy who's like the best tiebreak player in the history of the sport can't win it. Can't win it. So it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you. Epic tease, and we lose. So there you go.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Good rant there, Pat. Good rant. Well, we're going to hope to make up for Patty Boyles and give you some Patty Boy W's. Oh, I like that. Here's Degeneration Bets.
Might be a year older. I might be a little grayer. But at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
You know me in soccer, Pat. We go together like lamb and tuna fish. I gave you that I thought England would win today in my little Betsy there, my hot cake to start this hour. You talked about low scoring. I've had this in the sheet, so you know I'm not piggybacking. And you mentioned the only guy who you could consider scoring multiple goals before in England. That's my DGen bet, and that's Harry Kane to score anytime goal scorer. I could see this being a 1-0 England victory, or maybe it is 1-1 going to, penalty kicks late after extra time. I am going to take Harry Kane a plus 240 to score a goal today in the Euro final. That is my degenerate bet.
Yeah, I got a degenerate bet as well, and it's on the Copa America final. Argentina, Colombia. That's tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. If you happen to watch the semifinal between Colombia and Uruguay, things got ugly at the end. Players
little
going
brawl,
into the,
huh?
Yeah, players going into the crowd to fight fans. Just a ugly scene, ugly scene. Now, there's a meme that's been kind of floating around that is one of the best memes I've ever seen because it's so true. Where it's, the European Championships, the Euro tournament, it's not as physical. It's more about kind of beautiful style of soccer, football, as they call it, obviously, passing the ball around, who can break down the other defense. Yes. Whereas the Copa America has just been kind of like a knife fight in a parking lot between the two teams. And, I mean, it's applicable to so many of these games. It's so physical. There's so many fouls. There's a lot of cards. And you got two South American countries with a long history, two countries that don't necessarily like each other here. And you know what? We are 8 hours away, just over 8 hours away from kickoff. And you got to shop around here. But I'm having a tough time finding where it is with the yellow cards. That's what there it is. Now I got it. Total bookings, total yellow cards. And this is just in the first 90 minutes as well. So if it gets to extra time, they don't count. But I'm going over. I think this is physical. I think this is spicy. No pun intended. I think, again, two teams that don't like each other. And I think whoever the referee is will want to try to control this game and not let it get out of hand like some of these games have gotten out of hand. So, and again, it's the final. It's not like you get a yellow card for this game. You have to miss the next match. There is no next match. So it doesn't matter if you get a yellow card. And especially if it's a 1-0 game or a 2-1 game in the final 6-7 minutes, you're going to see 2 yellow cards probably given out to the team that's winning for time wasting. You're probably going to see a coach get a yellow card. You're probably going to see a couple of fracases and fights at the end where you're going to see an extra couple of yellow cards. So I think we've got the chance to blow over this here, over 5.5 total cards. And remember, a red would count as 2. So I don't know if anybody's going to get thrown out of the game, but I'm going over 5.5 total cards in the Argentina-Colombia game tonight.
That is degenerate. Real quickly, just a little recap of a bet I gave at the top hour number 2. I said Aaron Judge 2 or more total bases combined with over 9 runs. He already has 1 total base on a hit by pitch. Now, here's the problem. Where I'm set up in my little studio down here, I don't have Roku TV. I have it upstairs and outside at my house. I don't have it right in front of me in the studio. The Yankees and Orioles obviously were engulfed. Yes, it does count. I have 1 bets on that.
I don't know if that does.
Base. Yes, the walks count on the total bases. Yes, they do. At least on, maybe not on all apps. The app I use, they do. They do.
True story.
I know because I've won bets on that. So, just telling you.
All right, from your lips to the bookie's ears.
Here's my problem. The Yankees and Orioles, had a bench clearing situation. Now Aaron Judge gets plunked in the first inning today. I have no context to whether that happened or not. I have no idea if there was a little fracas. So there we go. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to argue right now. Send me the link to that app. We're obviously sponsored by a certain app. There we go. All right. Now, without further ado, here's my Sunday Scary.
The weekend is almost over, but there's still time to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
Oh, ooh, la la, ooh, let's be scared, ooh. All right, here we go. You ready? 5 legs, 13-1, all MLB player props. I'm taking Jose Quintana over 5.5 Ks, which is plus money today, versus that crap Colorado lineup as the Mets continue to roll. Max Scherzer, 5 or more Ks, a 5+ Ks bet versus the Houston Astros and their lineup. How about the Tigers, who came back down 7 runs yesterday to beat the Dodgers and upend them? Well, I think the Dodgers get a bounce back. They come out angry today. Ohtani, 2 or more total bases in that game. We talked about the A's and Estes pitching today. How about Bryce Harper? 2 or more total bases for Bryce. The Bryce is right. And last but not least, I talked about that Ray game earlier. While I have Jose Ramirez and Dingbat hitting a homer, I also have Stephen Kwan to record a hit versus the Rays today. He's been a hit machine all year for the Guards. So 5 or more Ks. Over there for Jose Quintana versus Colorado today. Scherzer, 5 or more Ks versus Houston. Ohtani, 2 or more total bases versus the Tigers. Bryce Harper, 2 or more total bases versus the A's. And Stephen Kwan to record a hit versus the Rays. A nice 13-1 5-legger for you on the Sunday Scaries.
How about that? And again, Shawnee had to do a little change up halfway because he realized the Yankees game started at 11:35 Eastern, so 15 minutes ago. So there was a lot of, hey, sometimes it's the bets that you have to change are the ones that win. All right, normally this is how we end the show. Boyle's beef bet. I'm angry with a player or a team or somebody. I'm angry at Novak Djokovic. Now, again, probably not going to play a tournament for another 3 weeks or a month, so I can't bet against him. This bet's not necessarily rooted in beef. I'm not necessarily angry at anybody. It's just my favorite bet for the rest of the day. So hit the music. Boyle's beef bet.
Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week on the bet.
All right. Yeah, Mets on the run line. I don't have beef with the Rockies. They stink. I'm gonna have beef, I guess, if they keep this game within a run or win it. But again, German Marquez, longtime Rocky, first start since Tommy John. So, what are you expecting here? 4 innings, maybe. I mean, if he pitches his ass off, maybe you get 5 innings out of him, and then he's turning it over to a Rockies bullpen. That stinks. That is cheeks. But I think the Mets get to him anyway. Again, first start since Tommy John. I think it's fair to assume, or I'm assuming with my wallet, that he's not going to have his best stuff. That the fastball velo, which is normally not there, now at 29 years old, is going to be, the Mets are going to be licking their chops. They've been the best offense in baseball over the last month and a half. So you got that. Jose Quintana's pitched pretty well, but again, this is more so a fade of German Marquez in his first start coming back from Tommy John. Mets have been hot. They're going for the sweep. They're going for their 6th straight win. Give me the Metsies on the run line, which you shop around. I got it at plus 105. And BetMGM might even have better odds than that as I go and check here. And the Mets are, plus 105. Yeah, so BetMGM, run line, Mets, plus 105. That means they obviously have to win by 2 or more runs. And that's what I got for
All
you,
right.
Shoney. Not necessarily a beef bet. That's just
Well, this is what I worried about last week, Pat. I worried that you wouldn't have enough beef. What?
Well, this is like the first one of the year where I don't have beef with or against somebody or a player. It is July 14th. It's the day before the All-Star break. Okay? I could say I have beef with England as an Irishman. Maybe that would have been the best bet. Was save the Spain to lift the trophy bet at minus 140 for right here, because as an Irishman, screw the queen. She's dead anyway. Screw the king. Screw all of them. As an Irishman.
There's a new queen, isn't there?
No, now it's a king.
Yeah, but the king marries a queen. No matter what, there's a queen if the king's married, no?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I mean, it's a stupid concept anyway, the royal family. You know what? We broke away from England. Ireland has broken away from England. They're colonizers. They're losers. I hope they lose today in soccer. Anybody but England winning this tournament is fine with me as an Irishman, as a devout, proud Irishman. So maybe that should have been the beef bet. But you know what? I saw you wanted to go with England, so I decided to start this last hour. From a producer standpoint, I'm always thinking that would have been better. But other than that, I really don't have any beef with anybody today. It's the day before the All-Star break. There's not a whole lot of sports to have beef with.
And by the way, some confusion. I gave away those total bases. A lot of these rules are saying they don't count, so I don't know what has happened. Right now, I have an app where it's telling me I have 1 total base already for Judge. Tell me how that makes sense. Don't understand it, but I'm not going to apologize. We'll update this situation later. I'm going to have to go through the graveyard. Okay. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to Kenny. Thanks to Amir. Thanks to Pat. Thanks to Jeffrey. Thanks for dominating the whole situation. I'm Sean Morash. This was BetQL's 5-star weekend. What's the beef? We'll be back next Sunday morning.
You've been listening to the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. If you missed any of the shows, listen back anytime on the new and improved Odyssey app. PJ Glasser, we want to hear from you. Send it in is about your picks, your trends, and